I saw Michelle's event in Rook for the breast cancer event, and I thought that it would be a great idea to do something with the musicians. So I asked Michelle if she could do it, and she agreed. She worked really hard in the last month trying to get all the information from all the guests. And I think it's going to be a very interesting evening. It's going to be recorded as well, so we're going to have it in our YouTube page, hopefully in a few weeks' time. I'm not going to add more. So you all know Michelle. She's done so many podcasts for the past 3 years already. 2 years, no? I've been one of the guests, so thank you for that. I was able to...
You're welcome.
I was able to promote the Sound Festival. No? So please give a round of applause to Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you, Nani. Okay. So it's really fun to be here and to do On the Sofa with Rouge live. It is a bit different to the podcast. And what I wanted to do was just have open conversation with musicians. Today we're talking to musicians. We are representing MAG and trying to put out there that you guys are fantastic artists, fantastic musicians, and you deserve recognition and you deserve people to know about you and to know what you're about. So we talked about who we would have, and we've chosen a few of you. It's a representation, really, of the many talented musicians in Gibraltar. So I've got a little introduction. I don't know them so well, but I've written out a few little things. So bear with me while I put my glasses on and read about my first guest, who has come a long way from strumming with his mate Chris Roca in the 80s, apparently, to singing on stage in Sevilla with Reach in front of 22,000 people. He's joined various different bands. He's made a name for himself wherever he's been, really. And he's won the Gibraltar International Song Festival twice. He's written a song for Bolton Wanderers Football Club, I bet you didn't know that, which was performed to 30,000 people. And in 1998, along with his mate Stephen, he began a new project called Reach. He landed a record deal where their single Sigo Sin Dormir reached the top 40 in the Spanish charts, which launched his first solo album in 2011. And now during the pandemic, he's joined forces with Madrid-based rock artist Manolo Arias, and they've embarked on magic. But I'm not going to say any more because I'm going to spoil it. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Giles Ramirez. How was that?
Oh, that was great.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Well, I did invite everybody around to my house, and I think I spent like over an hour talking to Giles. So taking notes and trying to remember everything he was telling me. But basically, you've had a lot of fun along the way. I mean, that's what we want to know. We want to know about the fun and the things you got up to. And we'll start at a point. I have got some questions
It's all about having fun. Music is all about having fun. If you're not having fun, then it's not worth it.
So I want absolutely. I want to know, what is your first musical memory?
First musical memory was way when I was a kid. You know, I come from a musical background. I mean, my dad used to play piano when he was 10 or 11 years old. During the war, he used to play the piano for the BBC once a week, I think it was, to entertain.
But what, here in Gib?
No, in London.
Oh, right.
In London. And then I think I just took over him. I mean, music was in the blood.
In your blood.
Basically, yep.
So you started playing the piano?
No. I started playing drums.
Okay.
I loved drums before I even sung. But I had to give that up. I have to give it up to become... my first band was Ash. And they were requiring a vocalist, so I took the chance and went for it. That was my first experience as a fully fledged band.
So what made you think you could sing?
That's a very good question.
Because if you were a drummer...
I know, but I used to sing whilst I was drumming as well.
Oh, did you used to sing in the shower? And somebody somewhere, your mom said, "Oh, Giles, you're so good at singing."
Everybody sings in the shower. No, I liked singing. I mean, especially back in the day when my dad used to play all those, rock albums from, you name it, the Beatles to Tom Jones. And I used to sing all the time. But my first love was drums. That's
Okay.
That's my first love.
Tell me something, Giles. What is the first album you ever bought?
You're going to laugh, but I think it was one of the Bee Gees.
But you did tell me that your taste in music was a bit eclectic and that you liked a bit of everything.
I mean, I've liked everything, from the Bee Gees to the Beatles to even Ossie Bisa. I remember my dad used to have one of these cassettes, Ossie Bisa. That was years ago, and I used to love all these different styles of music. I think it's very important for a musician to listen to every single style of music. I mean, you always grasp ideas, no?
So when you started singing, you joined Ash, you tell me. What was the music scene like in Jib at the time, in the 80s, no? And who helped you along the way? Did you have support?
I got to know Stephen McLaren, who was the lead guitarist for Ash, back in 1982. We did a few shows in school. I remember, and that's when I got acquainted with him. I joined Ash in 86. And it's very important to be surrounded by musicians all the time, because you learn a lot. Even, you know, if we're all local, we all learn from each other, and you grasp ideas from everybody. So my first experience was really good. I mean, Stephen is a great musician, as we all know, and the band was a very good band. I was very lucky to join them.
And at some point, did you think that you could really become someone with your music and like maybe become famous or do really, really super well?
I think that's every musician's dream. Of course I did, of course. But when we first left Gibraltar for the UK, reality hits you straight in the nose. And it was so hard. I mean, back in the day, we had to pay to play. It's not like today. Today, you get paid for playing. Back then, you had to pay to play. So we did a few gigs in London and a few other places, but it wasn't as easy as we thought. So that, I mean, we disbanded about 2 years later, 2 years after that.
One thing you told me when we had a chat at home was your loyalty to local bands. You told me that along the way you had been asked to take part in interesting projects and that you always kind of turn them down because of your loyalty to other bands. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I joined Ghost in 1992, and we had Don Arden, who is Sharon Osbourne's dad, and he was our manager. And we thought we were going to go places because he had a big name. And he called me once. He called me at home once, and he said, "Listen, I'm not very interested in the band, but I want you as a solo artist." He says, "You can come over to Los Angeles. I'll put you on a house there. You can bring all your family. I'll put you into a studio with great producers, and you can do your solo stuff." And I said no.
You said no?
I said no. Yeah. I couldn't leave. I had faith in the band. And it goes to show that he didn't really believe that much in the band either, because he wouldn't have called me to a side, no?
So do you regret now not
Completely.
going?
Completely.
At least you admit it.
Zaway, I regret it. Of course I do.
Yeah, my gosh.
Completely.
So do you think did that stop you from doing anything at the time, or did it make you like think twice about whether you were worthy to do this or not? Did it put you in doubt?
What do you mean?
Well, just with your ability and your...
No, not at all. I think I could have done it. You have to believe in yourself. Firstly and primarily, you have to believe in yourself, or then there's no point in trying to achieve stuff. So I did, yeah, I believed in myself, but I was very loyal to the band, to my detriment.
Tell me about the biggest song that you've ever written, the song that's made it, the furthest, really.
That's a very difficult question, because let's face it, I mean, I haven't become a major rock star, so...
You are here.
Yeah, but, you know, I think every song you write it with passion and with your heart. So, you know, every song has its special element. I mean, obviously with Reach, we achieved getting into the charts with Sigo Sin Dormir. But I think I wouldn't be able to say this was my best effort. No, I think every song in its own right has its magic.
And performing Sigo Sin Dormir in a stage in Sevilla in front of 22,000 people, how does that feel?
Oh, you've got to ask Adrian Pisarello.
We will, we'll ask him because we're going to have you both on in a while. But yeah.
That was amazing. What was more breathtaking was the fact that so many locals went to that concert. It was packed with Llanitos, packed.
And did that made you feel good?
Of course it did. And obviously from the distance you can't make who is who, but you could hear the Llanito sound coming through, because we're very loud anyway. Pero that was a hell of a gig. That was probably one of the best gigs we've ever done.
Yeah, because you were with a family on the stage, I suppose, sharing that really special moment.
See, and we'd been on tour for a month, I think it was already, so that was the last gig. And we knew it was going to be special. Apart from that, the band, we got to know each other a little bit more intimately as well. So we had a great time. We had a great time on that tour. That gig was special.
Well, we'll talk about it a bit later as well with Adrian, who was there as well. He can share his experiences. I mean, you can share experiences together. Tell me about writing the song for the Bolton Wanderers Football Club. How on earth did that happen?
Okay, so Steve Reed, who was the second guitarist in Ghost, the band I was talking about, when we disbanded in '96, we kept in touch. I kept in touch with all of them, but Steve was, he was really a great friend, great person. And he heard that Bolton Wanderers were looking for an anthem, because they had gone into Premier League. So they were looking for a song to represent the team. So Steve applied for it, and he said, Giles, I'm going to send you a track, see if you can sing it. I thought it was quite corny, to be honest, but then again, anthems are like that. So I said, yeah, I'll do it, no problem. I did a trial with the track, and he sent it to Bolton Wanderers. They loved it. They loved the track. So I went over for a week to Burnley, which is where Steve lives, even now. I got into the studio with him, recorded the track, we presented it to the football team, they loved it, and that was that.
So can you sing us a little bit of it now, or no?
Not really, no. Not really, no.
No, okay.
It's quite embarrassing, actually.
But still, you did it, so you get some points for that.
So it's just an anthem, it's one of those things.
Mira, we're trying to revive Llanito in Gibraltar at the moment, and I wanted to ask you, you sing in Spanish and in English. What do you identify more with?
English. Okay. Definitely English. But funnily enough, with Reach, because we had the album, the original album was recorded in English. We sent it to the record company, and they wanted it, the management wanted it in English, but the record company wanted it in Spanish. So it was a little bit of a trial and error thing, But the end product, I was happy with it. But definitely English is the language.
But then the song that did the best was in Spanish?
Yeah, funnily enough. Yeah. I'm a believer that you have to sing, hombre, if you go and live in France, it depends. If you sign a record deal with a certain country, it's very important to sing in their language. No, so Spain had to be sung in Spanish.
And talking about Reach, when we chatted about it at home, you were very. You could see how passionate you were about that band and how much you loved it.
Yeah.
Tell us some more really memorable moments that you had while you were part of the band with your mates.
I can tell you a funny anecdote.
Well, that's what we want to hear.
Adrian is going to remember this one. After we did the whole tour and we sung in front of so many people, we were offered a gig in Zaragoza. Or Santander, no, Adrian? Santander. We were off, and very well paid, really well paid gig. But it was in a massive fair. So we get there, after driving for 12 hours, I think, in a van. And a few minutes before we go on stage, I thought, there's no one here. No hay nadie aquí, no hay nadie. Nadie. We go on stage y nada más que hay dos viejecitos. Al final, you could see y una niña chiquitita va dando vueltas. And we had to play. We had to play. There was no one there. We played to no one. I don't know what promotion they did. We played to no one. And when we started playing, yo no me podía aguantar de risa. And I was laughing all the way through the gig. Y Steven, que estaba con la... He's very serious, even if there's no one. ¿Qué te pasa, chiquillo? Y yo no puedo cantar, me estoy riendo todo el tiempo. I played the whole gig laughing. ¿Te acuerdas, Adrian? Me arrimaba Adrian. Esto es una porquería, ¿qué pasa aquí?
Did anybody explain it afterwards?
It wasn't promoted.
But you got paid, so
See, we got paid. We got paid really well. But it just wasn't promoted at all. I don't know what they did.
One of those things. Tell me something. Anything that you would change about how your life has turned out?
No, nothing. Life is, it's waves of experience, I think. Even when things go bad, you learn from everything that goes wrong. So, no, I wouldn't change anything. Maybe my height. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, but is that why you are a singer? Because you can get to stand at the front?
Claro.
Because that's what Adrian Pisarello told me as well.
No,
he likes being at the front.
But that's why I loved drums, because you can't see a person's height. I could hide behind
And
the
you're
drums.
actually on a level when you're a drummer. You're a little bit higher. So, dime, Giles, you're an emotional guy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to know if your emotions have ever got the better of you when performing, apart from this incident where you were laughing all the way through it.
That's a good
Ever
question.
had anything else like that?
Again, I think that when you sing, you're expressing, you're all obviously expressing your emotions. That's why you write. You know, writing is like poetry, so you're conveying a story that you feel. No, I mean, you can write from everything. You can write from things that happen in the news, or from a movie you watch, or from a series. But when it comes from the heart, of course, you express emotions completely. Yep.
Good. I'm going to ask you a few difficult ones. No. What motivates your daily life right now? When you get up in the morning, what do you look forward to?
Staying in bed.
You just roll back in.
I'm kidding. No, I have a small studio at home, which is very well equipped, to be honest. So, it's where I spend most of my time, really. I'm retired now. I've been retired for a year now. And it's where I'm working the most at the moment. I've completed 2 albums now, one with Magic.
I was going to say, we were going to talk about Magic. What is it? It's kind of a fusion, a concept. You told me a concept album? Or?
No, it's not really. It's just a 14-song album, which we started working through lockdown. And we finished it a few months ago. So, and we have a record company to release it as well. So we've been lucky there. And
you're coaching as well?
Yes. I do a bit of coaching, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So one last thing. Let me see, because I can't see without my glasses. Okay, what is the best advice you can give a young musician starting out now?
It's a cliche, but follow your dreams. Follow your dreams. Why not? Life is short. Follow your dreams. I would always say to young musicians, secure. Do your GCSEs and do your A-levels. I think that's very important, to have something to fall back on. I have a few GCSEs, but not enough. I wish I would have studied a bit more. I wish I would have. Now, better follow your dreams, claro, always.
That's great. Thank you so much, Giles.
You're most
Ladies and
welcome.
gentlemen, Giles Ramirez. Just stay on the sofa, because we're going to have our next guest, who is very important too. Let me just put my glasses on. So he's no stranger to our screens. He's got his own show on GBC, where he now works to performing in so many. He's performed in so many shows locally, taking music on a couch surf tour, driving his camper van around Gibraltar and in other places, even in America. He had a master plan with band Blackouts. I want to know a bit more about that. He left for uni and then went solo and stepped in for Emily Sunday's guitarist. And I'm sure there's a lot more. Let's welcome Guy Vallarino onto the stage. How are you feeling?
Hello.
Are you okay?
I'm okay, thank you. How are
Good.
you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank
Thanks
you for
having
joining
me.
us. So, Giles, please feel free to butt in at any time, okay? Because this is what it's all about. We want you. We want a big open conversation. Guy, I want to know what got you into music in the first place.
I think it's, I have an older brother who was really into Oasis and sort of that kind of like Britpop era when I was younger. So whenever I'd get home, I'd always hear that on the stereo, and it sort of like piqued my interest. And it went from there. Then as a younger brother, I find you always want to copy your elder siblings. My brother picked up guitar, started playing guitar, and I was like, oh, I want to try that too. So whenever he'd be out of the house, I'd get his guitar and try and copy what he was doing, and it kind of went from there.
Okay, and were you good at school? Were you a good student, or did you just prefer to sing and strum? And
I would have preferred to sing and strum, but yeah, I just had to crack on with school, really. It was something that I suppose was instilled in me. Studies comes first. type
Absolutely.
thing.
And what was the first instrument you ever played?
It was the guitar for sure.
Because
yeah.
your brother played it.
Because my brother played it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do the same as he was doing.
And did he teach you how to play?
No, he
Okay.
didn't even let me.
Really?
He
Anywhere near?
He wouldn't share the guitar. Like it was literally stop copying me. You know, it was that kind of thing. So I could only sort of play it when he was out the house.
What, secretly?
Yeah,
And now he's
exactly.
finding out that you actually
Exactly.
played his guitar behind his back. Then you went off to study. What was that like, leaving Jib and taking your music out of Jib?
Well, starting with Blackouts as a band in Gibraltar, so that was just pre-uni. No, we had a couple of one of my best friends, Paul Santos, was also getting into guitar at the time, and Jonathan Felices who was playing drums at the time, said, "Oh, we've got a band drum that you can use," which was part of the youth center, which his dad had the keys to. Anyway, we walked in there, we started up this band, looked for a bass player in a very good friend called Anthony Martinez, and it kind of went from there. And we started writing a lot, apart from playing a lot of covers, we started writing our own stuff. And we were like, right, the master plan, let's go to uni, but let's go to uni together. And then we'll get a grant.
Ooh, a lot of people are doing
Yeah,
that
exactly.
now. They kind of all go to Liverpool, or they all go somewhere with
So we found a place that we could all get into. By this time, Jonathan was no longer playing drums with us. We had Nick Cortez on drums. And we went off to Buckinghamshire Chilterns University College in High Wycombe.
All of you?
All of us.
You all got in?
All got in. And this master plan of like, yeah, we're going to start writing and recording and gigging and stuff. And we got there, the simple thing, after coming from a tiny little place like Jib and suddenly being out in the wild, big world, we all started to like go our separate ways. We were all continued being the best of friends, but musically it just came to a massive halt. And that's when I just decided, I was still very, very hungry to continue with music, and I just wanted to make a living from music. So that's when I decided to start playing on my own.
So Blackout fizzled out.
It fizzled out, yeah.
But you were still mates. Are you still mates now?
Absolutely,
Oh,
yes,
that's
yes,
good.
yes. So when I've played a couple of shows with a full band, they've in the past, when they were still playing. Paul now lives in Thailand. Anthony doesn't really play bass. We've played together in the past again. But yeah, they were best men at my wedding.
Okay, how fun.
When there was a power cut,
That's right.
you guys, there was a power cut here in Inces Hall, and they were playing electrics, all electrics, and they carried on the show on acoustic because there was no electricity. That was very brave of them.
I remember that moment. We were asked to support Area 52, and I think it was your album launch gig here or something like that.
It was their album launch,
Stephen, sorry, Area 52. So we were performing, and there was while Blackout were on, there was an actual blackout, and we continued an acoustic gig in here, and I remember that was one of the first moments where like I felt playing an acoustic that really connected to an audience, because literally everyone was like shh, and I was playing High and Dry, a cover of High and Dry by Radiohead, and everyone was just really into it, and it's one of those moments that stays with me.
Palpable, no? It was
Yeah.
like really intense. Tell me about your voice. Has it changed over the years, and how do you warm up?
I think when I was younger, teenager, I just used to sort of like I have a very whiny voice. I used to like listen to Liam Gallagher and Oasis. I used to think, that's how you sing, like push as hard as you can, and when it breaks at the end, that's cool. And then I'd always be like, like for the terrible, like losing my voice after gigs and stuff. I remember Dylan Ferro when we were playing down at Wellington Front with Blackout. He used to come to some of our rehearsals, and he gave me some advice and said, you know what, maybe you should really try and just learn how to breathe properly, how to project your voice properly. And he put me in touch with like a logopedia, a voice specialist in Algeciras, and I went to a few sessions and learned how to like start to use my diaphragm more, not push so much through my throat. And from there, I felt that I started to have a better command and control of my voice. So I think my voice has changed if I listen to like the first recordings. But that happens to every singer, I would say. I mean, when you start, you don't really know what you're doing. You're just winging it. I think I'm still winging it now, but it is what it is.
Is that like the same for you, Giles? Do you warm up as well before you have to do a gig?
I don't, to be honest. I really don't. The only way I take care of my voice is by not doing things that I can't do. Like, for example, I wouldn't be able to sing in a gruff voice, much as I love it, because I know it's going to hurt me. So, no, not really. I don't really do anything different,
Okay.
to be honest.
No, it's interesting. It's interesting about the voice because when you see films on TV, you always see everybody going, oh, 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 and all that.
But
And you wonder if it's
I
rubbish
suppose
and
it
just
helps.
for telly.
I suppose it helps. Por gusto no lo hacen, no? Pero I don't.
Jazz is more rock and roll than me, you can tell. I
Okay,
mean, I'm
yeah.
there backstage with my app on my phone, like doing all these kind of warm-ups.
It's
And-
got to help. Por gusto no está, claro. For sure, respect, yeah, respect.
So back to you, Guy, again. You said you worked by day to pay the bills and gigged at night, and you did that for quite a long time. I mean, you were young, so then when you're young, you can do all these crazy things. But what was it like?
So when I moved to London, me and my harebrained ideas, master plans to try and make it in music. I thought, what if I try and get in through the back door? I worked for a record label. I'd studied music industry management and live production at uni, and so I'd had a couple of experiences working for labels or working for producers, etc. And I thought, what if using that background, I get into a record label? And there was an opportunity that came up at EMI Records to do an internship with them. Basically, the job was licensing music from the EMI catalog for video games, TV, adverts, etc. And I thought, if I can get my foot in the door, and then eventually, my colleagues are all going to be working in the record label, I'll get to know who the A&R people are, I'll start pushing my music, master plan, very easy. In my mind, it was all going to be really easy. So I found myself, my career within the music business started to grow and grow. I moved off the internship, moved into international marketing, and I was loving the job, but it was an intense day of working at the label, and then in the evening was like I still had this drive and this passion to do music. So I was gigging. I was mainly London-based, so gigging in and around London. I auditioning for a London Underground busker's license. I thought, that's some extra income because, like it or not, busking on the underground.
You need a license to busk?
Yeah, you need a license. It's
Really?
actually really, really well organized. You have to audition in front of a panel of different representatives, London Underground people from, maybe TV or in the music industry. And then you get granted your license and you book your pictures.
Wow, so you can't just
you can't just
rock up anywhere and
no.
just stop playing?
No. And people get very territorial about their pictures.
Really?
So if, let's say your slot's at 2 o'clock and there's a guy still in the 1 o'clock slot and you turn up at 5 to 2 and you're kind of just hovering there, get out, this is my pitch. It's
Wow, I didn't realize it was like
cutthroat.
going to the choir in the summer.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Incredible. I had no idea it was like that. You never think about it.
It's
interesting.
really well organized
Yeah.
and very, very
Is that
strict.
just in London or anywhere else?
I would assume there are other places in the UK where they have a licensing scheme in place, because otherwise you can imagine the amount of people that probably want to play on pitches, and you just turn up, you'd have people fighting over pitches. It's a way to organize it and also make sure that there was a certain level
a level of what? Of how well you play?
well, how well you play, but also variety. You don't want to have all people, singer-songwriters singing depressing songs. They have a guy with playing keyboards, a guy playing like rock music to backing tracks, a guy playing the panpipes. They need a variety as well.
Where was your pitch? Did you get one?
My main pitch used to be the easy one to get. Was at Waterloo on the Jubilee line at the bottom of the escalators. That was my favorite place, and from there I got booked for loads of weddings, corporate events, etc. It was amazing.
But that's okay because money coming in,
it's
so
great.
that's what you want.
But the top pitch was at Piccadilly Circus, and that one you were only allowed to book once a week, and so you'd get into a digital queue online like a week before, and you wait when it was your turn, you'd be able to pick what was available for pitches. So whenever you get Piccadilly Circus, it was like, yep, steak dinner tonight. Well, not so much, but at least an extra pint.
So the money came in, but you'd spend it just as quickly as it came in.
Well, with living in London, super expensive, and also when you're trying to make it in music, there's a massive part of it which is a huge investment in your music. And so from recording to to releasing and having an idea for marketing your release, it all costs a lot of money.
You played the guitar for Emily Sunday. I mean,
Yeah.
she is a pretty big star. How did you meet her? Was that here at the GMF?
No, so I'd met her and her team prior. So while I was working for EMI, part of my job was looking after the promo activities of various artists. So there was, and Emily Sunday and her team were one of them. So we got to, basically I'd look after them when we go to, into any territory for radio, TV promotion. So like we went into Japan and we had to do a TV show in Japan plus then a festival, and I'd kind of be the point person between the UK record label that I was representing and the label in that territory. And they were one of the teams I just really clicked with her and her band and her team, and we were traveling into Europe, into Asia, into the US. So we were doing all these trips together, spending a lot of time on the road. And see, we talk, you're a musician, would you ever sign to Virgin Records or to EMI? Like these sort of conversations with her. And I got on really well with her manager, and at one point we had this promo tour in Italy, and last minute, her guitarist pulled out. He couldn't make it. He had a prior commitment. He couldn't come. And it was for the release of our version of Events, her first album, and she was going to do an in-store at Fnac. And the Italian team, obviously beside themselves, they're like, we've invested all this in Emily, and she's not going to do this promo thing because her guitarist can't play. And we were having this big sort of crisis meeting, and
You said,
her manager stood up and said, hey, guy, you play guitar and you're coming anyway. Why don't you do it? And I was like, okay. I couldn't say no. So I remember it was only 5 songs. But I remember I was working in High Street Ken, and I lived in Fulham. So on my lunch breaks, I'd get back on the Underground, go to Fulham and be learning these songs to then sort of sit in front of the A&R team at EMI to say, look, I want your honest opinion. Do you think it's up to scratch, like what I've done? And they were like, yeah, go for it, do it. So I was really, really nervous. But anyway, we went, and she was really happy. Her manager was really happy. And they were like, you know what? I'd like you to come on promo tours with us. Would you like to? And this opportunity is a bit like the opportunity that came to you to go and do stuff on your own. But it was at this moment when I said, right, my bread and butter is with the label. And, looking back now, I guess maybe I should have been like, whatever, I'll do it. But I remember asking my boss of the team, of the marketing team, Emily's managers asked me to go on tour with them. Is there a way that I can maybe get leave or something? Can we make it happen? And it's not like in Jib, where maybe you might get some leave to do it. It was like, look, you have to understand that you are her marketing person and not her guitarist. If you go, there won't be a job here for you when you come back. And at that point, I pulled the handbrake, because I was afraid that my life in London, as I knew it, like trying to make my own career in music wouldn't happen. So there was a couple of other things where we coincided when we were on the promo tour together, and I had to cover for her guitarist. But actually going on a tour with them,
you had to say no.
Happened. I had
How
to
does
say
that
no.
feel?
Gutted.
Yeah.
Gutted. Because
Yeah.
if I look back now, I think it would have been amazing. I would have got to play with these people, would have learned a lot more from them, and maybe stuff would have gone a different way for me, or maybe not. I don't know. But it just would have been fun. More than anything, it would have been such a laugh, because that team I really clicked with, and it was so much fun. But I had to, like, sensible guy again got in the way, and was like, whoop.
Are you less sensible now?
I think I am slightly less sensible.
Maybe you should call
I'm
them.
more like, whatever. What will be, will be.
Yeah. Is that the coolest thing you've ever done in your music career?
I think I'd like to think that for me personally, well, not so much coolest, but the thing I've got the most satisfaction out of is my couch surf tour. Because being able to play my music in different cities around Europe, even a cheeky gig in the US.
What exactly is your couch surf tour?
The idea was, when I moved to London, and before I had the job at EMI, when I was just there for music, I didn't have anywhere to live, and a friend of mine was like, you can just stay on my couch. And I'd be looking for jobs, trying to get gigs, just sitting on this couch every day with literally the duvet there, the pillow here, just like, and my guitar. So I just started writing some songs, and that became my first EP, and it became the Sleeping on the Couch EP. And I thought, what a good way to promote this would be to actually play gigs in people's living rooms. So I'd put it out on Twitter and on Facebook, where there was a little bit of a following sort of bubbling, and people would invite me into their living rooms, they'd invite their friends and family
You'd
around.
actually sit on the sofa.
So that's right. So I'd play at the house in exchange for their sofa for the night. So it was playing on the couch surfing world, where people actually are put up in people's houses, they sleep on their couches. But my gift to them was, I'll put on a gig for you. And it kind of went from there. And then so I did a couple of these. And then fast forwarding to when I then decided to do music full time, and I left EMI, I put my hand up there was redundancies going around, put my hand up for redundancies. I was like, music 100%, all in. That's the only way you're going to make it, all in. I decided to keep the couch surf tour concept, and for my next EP, which was the Oceans EP, to tour that as a couch surf tour as well. And that's where I started getting invites into Europe and stuff like that, and it was really fun.
How do you get invites to somebody in Austria's living room?
Twitter and Facebook. Twitter and Facebook. People, friends of friends, people that know you. Hey, listen to this guy that I know. Like, for example, in Austria, there was a chap who used to live in Jib, whose wife's sister had moved to Austria, and then I played at their living room there. One of their friends was like, hey, can you come do my place next week? And it just went from there. It's insane.
You didn't really know where you were going to be, one day to the next.
Sometimes you had to book flights, so I had to know where I was going from time to time. But once you were in the territory, it could be like, I'm here for a week, let's see what comes up. So I remember when I was in Cologne in Germany, that week was amazing. It was during the Christmas market festival, and one of them happened to be in one of these old flea markets or whatever. And off the back of that, I ended up playing another 3 dates in random people's living rooms. And people always ask me, was it a bit weird, dangerous maybe? It was awesome.
Nothing dodgy happened.
Dodgy.
When you wouldn't tell us maybe anyway.
Well, not for today. No, it was great. It was great.
What fun. At least you've enjoyed it.
I've had a great time.
That's good. When you write, what inspires your lyrics?
For me, it's always just been, it's very cliche, but just everyday life experiences. That's the thing. Sometimes when I change, for example, when I moved back to Gibraltar, massive change of, scene for me again, moving back, I felt really inspired to write again. Then you kind of get back into a bit of a routine here, and I find it harder to write about things, and so then it sort of stops for a bit, and then it just depends what's going on in my life.
And what brought you back to Jib?
I'll come back to something Giles said earlier. It wasn't fun anymore. I was busking, playing weddings, corporate events, writing and trying to promote my own music, but it came a point where just ran out of money, and it wasn't fun. It became a real chore, and a lot of the time driving around, not spending much time with my partner, who was there doing her thing, but there wasn't much quality time anymore. It's like, well, it's not fun anymore, so let's move on to something. I had to know when to say time for change.
And what's the biggest lesson life has taught you so far?
I guess just don't give in to the naysayers, I suppose. Just follow what you want to do. People thought I was mad. People thought I was bonkers. Yeah, but what are you going to do? What about, it's always those questions. What about your studies? What about this? How are you going to make a living? How are you going to do this? And I go, watch me, hold my beer,
I like that, hold my beer. It's really great to hear you and really inspiring. What's happening next for you, Guy? Apart from you do quite a bit on GBC, you're working there now, and you enjoy that.
So I knew I always wanted to, if I was going to work an everyday job, I wanted it to be, and it wasn't going to be music, my first love. I knew I wanted to work in the creative industries. I look at all the positives of my time working at EMI, and for me, GBC was the only place that has that constant creative output in Gibraltar, and there's an amazing team of people, super talented people there. So for me, it's a really inspiring place to work. On my music side of things, I've done a number of solo shows since I've been back. There's been a few great opportunities for me through Future Sounds and through MAG. And for the next step, I just felt like I wanted to play in a band again. I hadn't played in a band for a long time, so I put together some friends in a band to play a few shows from now, into the summer, and we'll just see how it goes. Really, I'm keeping on. I've started to get back into writing again. So yeah, watch this space.
Watch this space. Well, we will definitely watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. Guy Vallarino.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was great. So now we're gonna. welcome another guest who I'd like to be on the sofa. So if one of you could just sit somewhere else, but I want you part of the thing anyway. Let me introduce our next guest. He's a crack. So I didn't really know him that well till I invited him round to my house, and then we were like for an hour chatting away. He's a singer, songwriter, guitarist. He composes music in all genres and loves all styles. He's known for his flamenquito, fusing Latin music with other styles in his own unique way. He's written this, by the way. He told me to say it. He's fronted many bands. He likes being at the front porque es chiquitito. And he's won a singer-songwriter competition, and I think that is such a brilliant story that I'm going to let him explain it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Pizarello. Thank you very much for being here. La verdad que you are...
¿Qué de cosas ha dicho esta gente, no?
¿Verdad? Bueno, tú no te quedas corto de palabras. En mi casa no vea lo que hablaste. Let's see if we can tell everybody all the things that we went through.
Venga, okay.
Chiquitito but powerful, ¿no?
Sí, ¿no? Como Sunquick. Like the Sunquick.
Like a Sunquick. Es verdad. What makes you a good singer? Because you never thought that you would be a very good singer, no?
No, I was crap.
Exactly, that's what you told me.
I was really crap. See, I started...
when you started, tell us about when you started.
Okay. I started writing for me. You know, I wrote songs, but I never knew how to play guitar or anything. So it was like, you know, I suppose poems, but for me it was like songs, you know. That's how I started, me on my own in my room. I remember I had these friends that they had a band, and they had composed this song, no? En un shed de la una. And it was like an instrumental thing, so they gave it to me, and I wrote the lyrics, and it was really funny. I explained how I recorded the thing, no? I remember I had, you know, the 3-in-1s. Those
in a cassette.
Bueno, sí, ahí va. Pero I had a 3-in-1. It was like a record player, the radio, and the
three things.
And the tape.
Yeah.
That's why we used to
so
call
you
it
play the music. You play the music.
I played the tape there. I played the tape there.
Like that.
I played the tape there. Then I had a portable.
Yeah.
I press and record. And whilst the music was playing, I in the middle of the room, I started singing. ¿No?
Yeah.
Había que escucharlo eso, pero bueno. Anyway, I gave it to them, and
they liked it.
And no, because for me it was like, you know, I had written this song. I didn't have any. Well, I don't know about the desire, but I didn't think that I was good enough to sing. So I told them, look, this is. Why don't you sing this song? And they said, why don't you sing it?
So you did.
And I thought I was crap, but I said yes.
Has your voice always been like that?
No. Ahora soy un monstruo.
Brilliant. So what makes you a good performer? What is a good performer?
A good performer is somebody that sings or plays with his heart. That in the middle of the show you don't know what the hell you're doing, really. No, it's true. It's not a bad thing. It's not that you're doing crap. You're making, you know. It's that you get really so into it. You know, sometimes I don't remember singing songs and stuff like that because I get so in it. You know, and it's not the beers. I know, but it's not the beers. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
It transports you to another place.
Absolutely.
You know, you can play and sing, and you can do like like a tape recorder. But that's performing, you know. And performing for me is getting into the music
and having fun with it, and forgetting everything else.
Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's intense. Okay. You know.
So explain to everybody how you explained to your band the music that had come into your head and that you had recorded and sung and written down and all this, like you told me. How did you explain it to your rest of your band? We haven't. I haven't got any musical. I don't know
crap about, chords. Well, chords, yes. But, she had music and stuff like that. I don't know. I never know, no?
¿Cómo se lo explicaba?
Sí, se lo explicaba. Plan, bueno, I play a couple of chords and I say, mira, he's like, pa, 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 pa.
So that's how he made music at the beginning.
Here you stop,
see?
here you go. 4, and it's no bars or anything. It's 4 times, it's 4 times. You do 4 times, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. You know what I mean? So, no, well, I don't know about bars. 4 times, you do it 4 times.
But you told me that you had like great fun doing it and that they got what you were doing and that in the end you did come out with some pretty good songs.
Was that the first band, you mean?
The first band, when you
well,
first started.
The first band was a music, a school band, really, It was my,
But they were your guys.
It was okay, I suppose. I don't think it was that great of a band, but, it was a start,
And how did you evolve? What happened next?
What happened next? I remember when I started singing, I went to another band, I started singing, but the songs that we used to sing were like, it was like this heavy metal with all this, what Giles sings, that he does so well, and I was really crap at it, man.
As well?
Yeah, of course. Bands like, I don't know.
You're being very modest.
No. But this is way early, man. Do you know what I mean? And the bands that we used to cover were not in my range. You know what I mean? They were, Iron Maiden, for example. Come on. And so I don't know. At some point, I decided to stop singing really and start playing the guitar. And I did that. I learned the guitar whilst singing and stuff, and a couple of bands or whatever. But I ended up singing again.
And what kind of music influenced what you were putting out there at that time? What music were you listening to?
Heavy metal.
All the time?
Yes.
Mostly?
Yes, heavy metal.
Do you still listen to heavy metal now?
Yes, but I listen to other stuff as well. But ages. I think that punk opened my mind.
Okay.
Punk opened my mind. I come from a time that if you were heavy metal, you were heavy metal. And you weren't supposed to listen to anything else. If you were, here in Gibraltar, there were like 3 things. The boys used to listen to heavy metal or to reggae, and a very small portion of the community used to listen to stuff like Duran Duran and stuff like that. No era pobre. Okay, and because obviously it was like a girls thing. I'm ashamed of saying this now. You know what I mean? But it was that way then, no. So I remember I always liked Bob Marley. Always liked Bob Marley. But when I started listening to AC/DC and Motorhead and Black Sabbath and stuff like that.
You preferred it?
No, it's not that I preferred it. But you were told by people that were older than you, man, you don't understand music, you cannot like the two. You know what I mean? It was like that. It's sad, but it's true. It was like that. So obviously, I wanted to be, this heavy metal kid, so I stopped listening to reggae, man. Well, you didn't stop listening to reggae because reggae was everywhere, man, But it's sad, but true. But at the time, I used to listen to heavy metal and stuff. Until later on, okay, what you like. And I love Bob Marley, I love reggae, I love ska. But punk opened my mind. And it wasn't, at the time because punk happened in England like in 76, stuff like that. Talking about the 80s, but here we haven't been very progressive always. Yeah. So
are we more progressive now, do you think?
I don't know. I think that everybody is the same now. Everywhere.
Really?
Listening to the same stuff. Yeah. I think it's a bit boring now.
Oh, how would you change it? How would you make it unboring?
I don't know. I'm old. I'm supposed to say that. It's for the youngsters to decide. Man. I've got my mind set up now.
Okay, well, we'll talk about what you're doing next.
Yeah.
But
I listened to the Sex Pistols, and then that was like
revolutionary.
Yeah.
Wait.
But apart from that, it was like a thing that it wasn't just punk. It was like I like other stuff.
Yeah.
So that opened my mind. Then I started listening to the Smiths and stuff like that, and The Cure, and other stuff.
Yeah.
And that opened my mind a hell of a lot more.
And who did you have around you at that time that inspired you, that made you keep going? That
What do you mean in
like people
in the
in
local,
your life?
the local
Yeah,
scene?
in the local scene.
The local scene. Well, the local scene had my heroes. Giles was one of my heroes, man. And Steven, and and Harry Shishon, Shattered and Ash were my heroes. They were heavy metal and stuff. But a very big hero for me is Tito Cipollina. And he played blues and
He's still
and
playing
reggae.
now, no? He
and,
still plays now.
I haven't heard him lately, but I think he's awesome, man. He sings the blues and stuff like that. And he was a very big inspiration for me.
Okay, and what kind of music were you writing? I mean, after the second band, not the one with your friend.
Well,
the other one.
I haven't thought about the second band. It's like I've skipped like a couple of bands.
Okay,
and
well,
stuff.
tell us about the second band.
The second band was heavy metal and more or less that type of thing until, I don't know.
I want to know about the lyrics, about what inspires you to write. What do you write about?
Anything.
Where does it come from?
Anything from here. Or,
Yeah.
It's what you believe, what you see, I don't know, it can be a film, it can be an emotion, it can be anything.
Are you an emotional person?
I suppose I am. If you're an artist, I think you have to be emotional.
Okay, if you could play at any festival in the world, where would it be?
A festival in the world? I don't like festivals.
Good question for you then.
I don't like festivals, honestly.
So what do you like? Like more cozy?
Yeah. Well, especially to go and see them. I suppose that playing is different. Well, Glastonbury wouldn't be bad, no? To play, to
would
go
be
and
very
see,
cool.
to go and see a festival. I wouldn't like to go to any festival to see anything.
Have you ever been to Glastonbury?
No, I've been to El Espárrago Rock. And Download as well.
Where?
Download. It's a very famous heavy metal thing.
Okay. Did you ever travel with your music? Did you ever leave Jib to try and get somewhere with it?
Not really. Only with Rich, with Giles.
Okay.
But I remember having, I think that I had loads of bands, but not really important, really. The most important band, the first important band I had, at least for me, was in the 90s. We were called Dirt. It was Dirt. It was Danny Felice from Breed, Glenn Diani from 1 Minute Silence, and my cousin Brian playing the drums. We were really heavy at the time, really heavy metal band. Now wouldn't be that heavy, actually. You know what I mean? But for the time, it was the tale of people playing AOR and stuff like that.
What's AOR?
AOR is stuff like, I don't know, White Lion, Toto, all that, soft rock, let's say. And I wasn't really into that. And the 90s, for me, was a really good place to be in the early 90s, when Nirvana again, really punk influence and stuff, Nirvana and I don't know, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains.
So did you ever think that your music could be like what you lived off, or did you always have like a
at that time, as they say, you wanted to believe it, but we wanted to go. And obviously, Danny and Glenn went. But I stayed behind because my wife got pregnant.
Good.
So
well,
I decided that ¿cómo te lo explico? I decided that I didn't want to regret, because music for me has been very important, but it wasn't the only thing. And sometimes you have to do sacrifices and stuff. And it depends what you want to sacrifice. I wanted to go to England, and I wanted to live and breathe music. And me going with my pregnant girlfriend and have to care, I think would have been hard, and it wouldn't have been fair for my it was a daughter, obviously. And I decided to stay here, and I never regretted it.
Do you think you were a bit revolutionary in your ideas and the way that you are?
I always am. Still now. I think. I don't know. You ask around. But you know, what do you? I don't say. People think that I say what I think and stuff like that. But yo me tengo que tranquilizar. You know what I mean? I don't
Pero
say.
eso que porque
I don't
está,
say.
eso que porque está viejo ahora.
No, I've always been like that. You know, I don't like to give a lot away either. For example, if you're writing a song and stuff, you know, for example, it's not that I'm comparing to, right? But you know, I hear John Lennon songs talking about, I don't know, his wife. I think that's a bit too personal, no? Even if I've wrote songs for my wife.
You told me that
You know
the
what
other
I mean?
day.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's different writing a song for your wife, no, telling everybody you're a relation, and maybe you can do it in England. I don't know, in Gibraltar, and everybody knows what you're talking about, no? So.
Mira, you like flamenco and you sing in both English and Spanish.
Yeah.
I asked Giles as well.
Yeah.
What do you identify more with? English or Spanish or both? Or
I don't know. I love my Spanish stuff, and I love my English stuff as well.
so, Janito.
Sí, bueno, I hardly mix both in a song, no? Maybe I should, I don't know. Pero sí, man, I like flamenco a lot, and rock andalou and stuff like that.
Does that influence a bit what you're writing now? Maybe.
When I sing in Spanish, definitely, lo xixo. and you know, that's another thing. I was a heavy metal, you know, a metalhead. Pero I always love lo xixo and stuff in secretly, man.
You entered a songwriting competition.
Yeah.
Tell us the story because it's a really good story.
When I don't remember when I saw the adverts or whatever. It was the John Lennon songwriting contest. It was in the US, and I had just finished recording a couple of songs. In Spanish. So I decided, you know, what have I got to lose? You know, before internet, before all this stuff, you know. Now it's very easy to send stuff, you know. And I remember I had on a tape, and I sent 2 songs. One was Libertad, which had a bad word in it, you know. Well, it wasn't that bad, but you know. So I thought, this is not going to win. But you know, it's my favorite song, so I'm going to send it. And the other one was a song that I wrote for my wife. It was a love song. I hardly do love songs. I've done like 3 or 4. I hate them. Well, I don't hate them. I don't hate them because when I listen to Led Zeppelin and they do it, it's fucking great, you know? Yeah. So, yeah. So I went to the post office and I said, look, I want to send this. Can I register this? And they said, no, you can't. We don't register anything. You know, you cannot register a parcel for the US. They go, so you have to like send it como va. So I did. Didn't think much about it. And I don't remember, maybe a couple of weeks or maybe months, I don't remember. I received a letter. You know, I entered that in the Latin category, and I received a letter saying that the song was like top, you know, in the top 25. You know, it was.
Yeah, because there was no internet or anything. You had to rely on.
Well, no, there was internet.
Ah,
Sorry, I didn't have it. You know, I told you before. Yeah. I've always been like, you know.
Old-fashioned.
A bit, yeah. Yeah, you know, I was, you know, everybody with the CDs, I was still with the vinyls and the tapes. Then when I managed to get into the CDs, now the bloody streaming and all that stuff, you know. So, you know, I'm getting there gradually, you know. I'm getting there gradually. Pero sí.
So you got the letter, and the letter told you were in the top 25.
Ahí va. So there were going to be the winner was going to be announced on such a date. So you had to get into the website. I didn't have a computer or anything, so you had to get into the website and find out who had won. So I called my cousin up, my cousin Tyrone. I remember he used to live with his mom in Varberg, and I live in G5. So I called him. I remember calling him, and I said, "Look, Tyrone, man, you have to go into this website or whatever." And he goes in, and I said, "Oh, you have to do this. It says here that you have to, I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. You know what I mean?"
You were just reading the letter.
And then he goes and he says, "Adrian, you've won." They go, yeah. They go, yeah, you won, Adrian, you won. They go, look, man, come on. They go, man, this is not funny, I said, honest, Adrian, you won. They go, look, I'm going to go to your house. It was just, see, and I won.
And you really won. Yeah. Wow, that's great.
Yeah. And there was much rejoicing.
And what did you win?
Well, see, I won, I can't remember, it was... Todavía lo tengo, man. Mañana voy a tocar con él, tío. Sí, ya me tocó. Sí, I won, I don't remember how many dollars in musical equipment, an advance for publishing contract, whatever the hell that is, because nothing happened with that.
But bueno, you beat a lot of people to get that. So
well, I didn't know half of them, no, but the committee or whatever that got the songs were like important people. They were famous people.
That's really good.
De verdad.
Very proud.
Sí, sí. Pero es que pasan muchos años ya, no se olvida, ¿no?
No, hombre, que va. Lo ha contado muy bien.
Sí, ¿no?
Igual que me lo contaste también en casa. Igual,
Porque es
igual.
verdad.
Mira, you like dancing. Nobody knew that one.
Well, I don't like...
And you were asked to take part in a dance competition.
Well, that's true.
And you didn't do too badly. Tell us about that. Who did you dance with?
Well, they called me and they said, obviously because it was something for charity and stuff. And so they decided to do like, it was called Let's Dance. Okay?
He's embarrassed about it.
No, I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. I cannot believe I did it. That's the only thing. And see, they called me and they said, Adrian, mira, we're doing this thing and we're getting people, that more or less, known in Gibraltar with people from GBC. And we're going to do like a dance competition, but it's for charity and stuff. I didn't think much about it, They go, oh, okay. I think I was doing I had recorded my second CD and stuff. So maybe a good promotion. That's what I thought. Hey, nice promotion. You know what I mean? And but that's what I thought, really, But anyway, for charity, I've done loads of stuff for charity. Well, all musicians here have done loads for charity, always. Good example, And see, and it was, it was...
You had to learn all the routines and all that,
What do you call that? Ballroom dancing, no? It was
ballroom dancing.
It was salsa, waltz, and all that stuff. Mira, GBC should put this program, man.
In the rewind program. They have a rewind
they
program.
should. It was very popular. It was very popular.
Well, now, what happened? How far did you get?
I came out third. Mira, second
good.
was James Nish and first was Andrea Martin. Wasn't that bad, man?
Very good. Yay.
It wasn't that bad, man. Wasn't that bad. Pero sí, man. Yeah, pero it was. Mira, I tell you one thing. It was hard work because you had to learn. At least Andrea and James maybe had danced a bit. But I did drama at school.
Ah, see?
Well, I've got a level in drama.
Okay.
Yeah, but to tell you the truth, I didn't do much dancing. I tried to...
Well, but coming third is pretty good. I would be proud of that.
Sí. Pero sí, man. Lo que hay que dar un termo. That's why I wasn't that bad, man. Era yo Dan López. Tú preguntas, era yo Dan López.
Well, I hope he watches this back and here.
Sí. No, he's going to say, man. Pero mira, what I want to say was the first time we danced, no? The first time we danced, obviously they paired us with people from the dancing thing, no? What do you call it? The community center.
Oh, the Sequence Dance Club, maybe?
So they knew how to dance. So, everybody was accompanied by one of them, no? So you had to do the stuff. And obviously, I remember finishing, and there were 3 judges, there. And, nobody told me anything about this. I thought I was going to be judged, but, take into account that I haven't danced in my life. And suddenly, La Lisana Olivero, she always laughs about this. Lisana Olivero, I think they told her, man, you're here, you are Simon Cowell here, And suddenly she goes there, man, all serious there, man. I was doing this for charity and stuff, and this guy, he said, no, because you've done this, because you've done this. Bloody hell, I got so pissed off, man. Honest, man. I laugh about it now.
What did you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
Quédate callado.
No, I didn't say anything until
afterwards.
Until I met her a couple of weeks, and then she said something to me, and I told her, look, I didn't like you,
Well, at least you were honest with her.
Yeah, and she, the other day I saw her, and she still remembers. Now we are good friends now. but man, you imagine that, no? Because nobody told me, look, you're going to be plastered now, you're going to be like crucified now. And it was like, what the hell is this, man?
Encima que you came third.
Encima. Bueno, I came third. Eventually.
Well, thanks to her.
That was the first dance that I did.
Well, you mustn't stop now. You've got to keep going with the dancing.
I stopped. But to be honest, I tell you one thing. When you got it right, it was really good, man. Honest. I didn't like the waltz that much, but when stuff got going and you got the steps, the steps and the rhythm right,
it's fun to do.
It felt good.
Good.
Honest, de verdad.
Bueno, we've got to give somebody else a chance.
No, I don't
so
think
let's
so.
ask you one more thing. What gets you up in the morning?
What gets me up in the morning? Work, unfortunately.
Your alarm clock.
My alarm clock, yeah.
No, but anything else that gets you going?
No, that gets me going. My family, my music, mi cosita, como se topa, mis canciones y esa cosa.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody, Adrian Pisarello.
Venga, thank you.
So, my next guest is a girl. A bit of girl power on the stage. She's a singer-songwriter. She fuses mainstream rock, pop, and blues into a vibrant cocktail of emotive, soulful sounds and infectious melodies. She's written this too, but she's played at different festivals and venues in the UK, Spain, Gib, and Italy. And she's moved back to Gibraltar 5 years ago. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. I hadn't met her before, but we really connected, and I think you're going to love her. Her name is Surian Dalmedo. Feel free to join in, guys, okay, if there's anything you want to ask her. Hello, thank you very much for being here with us. It was really, is that on? I don't know if that is.
Hello.
Now it's fine. Surian, it was a real pleasure to meet you. We met actually in a bench, which is really fun, behind John McIntosh Square, because we were both rushing that day. And I thought, I have to meet you because I had never met her before, and I wanted to at least know what she was about. And she's such a spiritual and enlightening person, and I think she brings that to her music. And I wanted to ask you a few things. So first of all, you're a dreamer. You always had a dream. What was it? Tell us.
My dream when I was little was I wanted to change the world. I wanted to save the world. I wanted to save the world with ideas, with creativity, and do something different, inject color, and do something different to the world. That was my dream.
I think you're doing that pretty well right now, don't you?
Yeah, but then you realize that the world starts within you. So that's the core of everything. It's inside of you. So you need to start changing your little world inside. And then when you kind of get to a point that you're balanced out, then you can project. And that's like a vibrant and like a wave, a ripple effect. You can have an effect on other people around you.
When you were little, did you know that you were a good singer? How did you discover that you were good at singing?
I think everything takes development and everything takes time and everything takes experience. So when you're little, you have a dream, you have ideas and you want to do something with your life. Especially, because I think like your upbringing and your journey, your circumstances have a lot of effect on you. So you can either push on and move on, or you can let your environment and whatever your surroundings are knock you away. So I think, it's all about courage and understanding that we are here to kind of learn and to kind of share experiences and share our knowledge. And through that, you gain strength and it takes you to your roots and to meeting people, because I've had the la buena suerte, the luck, to be surrounded by great people who have kind of like shown me direction. Like Adrian, I'll never forget that time when I was in the piazza where I thought I could sing, and he told me, Guilla, tú has escuchado Janis Joplin. Y yo, no, ¿quién es? And then I was hooked on Janis Joplin, and then I started learning more about her. And then, I've been surrounded with other musicians, like Eric, who's also around then, sitting there in that little corner there. En el Cuari, los delfines. And there was a song that I wrote about the dolphins, and we went to jam at the Cuari, and then all of a sudden we had all these dolphins and the cats. Remember the cats also? Yeah,
it was a really weird
yeah.
stuff,
So you've been writing for a long time, like when you were quite young.
Yeah. For me, writing is therapy. So, like I said before, like whatever I had in my mind, I used to put into this little diary that my great aunt gave me. And she said, chiquilla, que te va a comer coco toda tu vida, tienes que empezar a escribir. So I started writing, and then from there, I guess that started into songs and everything. But the luck that I've had, again, is I've been surrounded by all these musicians. And again, with you, with Eric, we've had like really good times and stuff. And then with Guy, we've done stuff also.
So you know everybody.
Yeah.
That's good.
I've been around, Michelle.
So, I know. I wasn't going to say that. So when you first started, did you start here in Jib? Because I know you've lived away for a long time.
I've been away for 18 years in the UK. And then 5 years in Spain, and then I've only been like 5 years back. So do the maths. I've been away for a long time, so I'm quite old.
So did you go away to study, first of all?
Yeah,
Is that why you went? So you're a qualified interior architect?
Yeah, I'm a qualified interior architect and designer, like Giles said, your backup. But that was my dad. My dad was like, you need to go to study. And he always wanted like an architect in the family, so I had to kind of do something. I'm like, okay, interior architecture and design. So I did work for a year as a freelance. But then, you think, who am I living this life for? Myself or to please others? So I went, I'm just going to go on the road. So I just started doing promo work. I started doing other stuff. And, I was in London, in Nottingham in London, for 18 years, and just pushing and growing, and learning from other musicians, playing with young musicians and everything. And I think like crafting my art.
Were you doing the same as Guy, like working in the day and gigging at night?
Yeah, I was working. But I just didn't have one job. I had up to 3 jobs, because life is tough, and especially in London. And I've always found my own way. I'm very independent and I'm very stubborn, and I feel like when you do something for yourself, and you shouldn't put other people in a predicament, just because you want to go and do something, like your dream, for example, pursue your dream. So I've always found a way to kind of financially support myself. And I think I've been very clever in the way I've organized myself, but that all comes to childhood and survival, because you learn to kind of be a fighter and not let anything stop
Get in your way.
Yeah.
What's it like being a woman in the industry, and how has that affected you as you've gone on?
I've always been surrounded by men. That's the thing. I know I'm a lady, though I tend to go by the name of Surreyman sometimes.
Man?
Yeah, Surreyman. It is. I guess it's the industry is very sexualized at the moment, and you get all these artists out there who I don't know if they're more I don't know. I don't like to talk bad about anyone, but they're more less clothed, more than anything. And, you know, I think it's kind of gets a little bit blurry, you know. Why can't men also be very skimpy and in spandex and, you know, at the same time sing?
What do you guys think about that?
You know,
Spandex, have you ever worn spandex?
I think I've passed that. You know, the 5 people that come to see me, you know, I don't want them to go.
That could be your next hit, man, you know. Spandex and dancing. But you know, it's for a woman, I think it's very, guys, you know this, come on, it's very, very different, yeah? Like men in a way, I think you have it a little bit easier than we do. It's a stronger, you know, it's a, no disrespect, yeah? But it's the respect for a woman in comparison to a man within the industry, it's different. It's a way that they market you, and unless you're a metrosexual man, okay, then they want you to wear all these skimpy trousers and tight fit jeans, and it's
and they
different.
wax your chest and things like that.
Escúchame, Giles used to wear spandex, eh?
Really?
Yeah.
Proud moment, Giles.
I want to see a photo of that.
And we used to have hair at some point.
Some still do.
See, no, but I mean hair.
Like proper
I mean
hair.
hair, you know.
Long hair,
Not like now in your ears.
Like to headband, no?
But it is a different world, I think, for a woman and stuff. I mean, now we're living in the digital world, which you will slowly come into. You're going to get there. You're going to get into TikTok, Instagram,
doing it.
everything, yeah?
No,
Just wait for
TikTok
reality
no creo.
TV's kicking in soon. Ages reality TV show. That'd be great, actually.
No, I mean, I'm staying with Facebook because Facebook is the old guys. And that's the guys that come and see me, you know. So,
Why not?
why not?
So, Rihanna, of all the countries you've lived in, which have you enjoyed the
I've
most?
only lived in, wait, hang on. Oh, I lived in, yeah,
Well,
Spain,
you've lived in
UK,
and
here,
Italy,
yeah.
no? You didn't
Well,
say you've
Italy, I
been in
didn't live
Italy.
there. I went there to gig last year with Louis Taborai, my songwriting partner, my partner in crime. So
Tell us about that.
there, we got fed, watered. I don't know, Louis, how many times did we eat in a day? Por lo menos 6 veces. My God, come on in. And then when you think that you've had enough, all of a sudden, now we're going to go downstairs to my daughter's where you're going to have some cake. And you're like, rolling down the stairs. Come in. No, I'm all right. No.
What did you do? Why did you go to Italy?
Not to eat.
No, but that's what you did.
I went to perform, basically, when I was in London, I used to perform with Davide Lufrano Chavez, and he's an Italian guitarist, and he used to be like my little brother. And he passed away through cancer at a very young age. And he used to come from a very educated background in un conservatorio Italian, yeah, for guitarists. And they've actually done like this award, this yearly award. Sorry, can I put my...
Whatever you like, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Es que soy muy chiquitita también, espérate.
Aquí está Lucy, oído. Aquí no vea. Parece que
Pero at least it's better than
han
the hub.
sacado los pitufos.
Pero cae bastante alto. En the hub no llego abajo, en the hub tengo que echar así o así, de verdad. Y encima resbala, que estos son cómodos. These are really comfy, eh?
Sí, they are.
Sorry, back to Davide. So yeah, so he passed away, and they've done this award in this like university where he used to study, and every year they kind of like give an award to a different musician. So to commemorate like his education and him as a soul, he was amazing. By the way, I used to call him El Conde Davide. It was fantastic. I used to wear this hat also when we used to perform. Anyway, I'm diverting. Back to Davide. And they did this celebration of his life for 10 years. So Louis and I went over, and then Danny met us there, el hermano Scipolina. Es que they're amazing, eh? Los Scipolinas son increíbles. The brothers are all really, really musical. And Tito no vino, no estaba invitado. Pero bueno, fue Danny.
Si lo invitan, if they invite him, he would have been still there.
For sure, como la historia del Tito. And yeah, we just went there and we played and we celebrated Davide's life with music as he would have loved to. It was amazing.
Fun. Whereabouts in Italy?
Prato. In Prato.
I don't know where is that.
Somewhere in Italy.
Never heard of Prato, but look, I look it up.
It was
I like
lovely.
traveling.
It was beautiful, very clean, very lovely, de verdad. The food is good. Eso que no parte. Y el vino.
Tell me something. What do you need to make it in the music business, in your opinion?
You need to want to live, first of all. I mean, to make it in the music business, you need to want to kind of like go, have a mentality that's quite strong and quite direct, and then you need to know what you want. I think everyone measures their own success. Like when you're little, you dream, the dream like you guys have said before, about like being famous, doing this, doing that. But really, success is measured by what you achieve on your own way, in your own way, Like right now, I believe I am very rich by the people that surround me and by everything I have learned and my journey. Have I reached my peak? I hope not, because I don't want to stop. I don't know where life is going to take me, but I don't want to stop. But I can tell you now, if I get that phone call or if I get that letter that tells me, go, I will go. But I will take some people with me, for sure, if I could.
That's great. How have you bettered yourself as an artist? How have you grown
I
through the
have
years?
listened to people. And I've listened to people that really care about me and that they want the best of me. And for me, people that have actually told me, you sounded like crap, you shouted too much, like you were completely out of tune. Quilla, tú que no te escuchas. But I don't want someone to come to my gig and say, que bien cantaste, mi alma, y después, ay, que bien, no vea cómo ha cantado la niña, ¿eh? O por favor, no vea cómo defino la niña. No, I want someone to be honest to me and tell me, mira, aquí sí. And luckily, I am surrounded by people that tell me flat. They tell me, maybe they need to tell me a little bit more, because sometimes when I listen to some rehearsal recordings, I go, oh my God, Luis, no me dijiste nada. But anyway, you need those kind of people around you. And it's not, sometimes when you're younger, your ego, your thinking goes, oh, por Dios, ¿cómo puedes decir eso? No, if you have people around you that actually tell you the truth, you've got people who actually care for you.
Very true.
Yeah.
Mira, your motto is keep smiling and
Yeah.
life is for living.
Yeah.
Have you lived the life that you wanted to?
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Would you change anything?
Would I change anything? At the moment, no. I don't regret anything.
So what happened when you came back to Jib after living away for such a long time? How did you find Jib?
I was actually a little bit apprehensive about coming straight into Jib, so estaba un poquito cagadita. So instead of coming straight to Jib, I went to Marbella, which is only around the corner, like to San Pedro de Alcántara. And I was there for 5 years. I was working as a music instructor, and I absolutely loved it. I loved the distance. And I loved getting on my car and driving the motorway at 110, 120. It's great. It's a great feeling to just drive and hear, and then you get all these eagles. And I always look around, and then I get, ¡Quilla la carretera! But I love that sense of freedom. That's what I'm trying to get to. I love freedom. I love being free. And I was obviously I've got family here in Jib and stuff, so I used to come over and everything. And then I realized, that Jib, in a way, has changed. There's a little bit of change, and it's because I think there's been such a wave of students that have gone to the UK and then have come back, and mentality is changing. And again, thanks to the internet and thanks to Facebook, yeah, the mentality is changing because we're receiving information from the outside world. Because sometimes when you're here in Jib, and it's so lovely and cozy and comfortable here, because it's a great place to kind of grow up. It's very, very safe, but it's almost too safe, and we're very cushioned, yeah. But when you leave and then you come back, then you
I was
realize.
going to ask you, do you feel you have to leave to become someone to do better in your career?
That's a very tricky question. I think to be a better person, you don't have to be in a different place. You just need to, wherever you are, it's like you just need to find yourself. I mean, getting out of Jib, obviously it's going to open your mind, and you're going to meet other people, and you're going to realize, life is bigger. There's so much world out there, just go and get it. There is world, and it's easy to do things in a way as long as you put a plan in action.
If you take it in.
If you take it
I've
in.
seen people going and coming,
Pero
and they've done there exactly what they've done here.
But that's what I was going
But
to
not
say.
everybody.
Eto. It's a mentality.
I think that obviously it opens your mind if you let it in.
Yes, you need to be open, and again, it's your state of mind and what you want. But that's why you need to be clear. ¿Qué es lo que quiere? If you want adventure, just don't think about anything. And I want adventure, and I think that's
You
why.
still want adventure?
Yeah, 100%. I still want adventure.
You told me that Jib is a lastminute.com kind of place.
Yes.
Explain that to everyone.
Because we have a gig, ladies and gentlemen, Guy and I, on Saturday here for Mag, yeah? And like, Mag's been promoting the gig and everything, and like some of the fellow musicians were saying, look, well, the tickets are not selling and stuff. And Guy actually made a point of saying, Jib is a very lastminute.com, you know, people at the very last minute, they will come, you know, if you build it, they will come. And then, you know, and he was like, I have faith in the Gibraltarian people. And they're actually right, you know, because in the past couple of days, you know, people have been buying tickets and they've been coming y todo, no, which is great.
It's like a lot of it's down to a bit of FOMO, you know? People, they're like, right, okay, there's a gig, but fear of missing out on something else. So they're kind of like, they park that to one side and they look at their options last minute. Be like, right, okay, well, Saturday, in verdad, there's nothing in the diary, so vamos a comprar esos tiquetes. So it's really last minute, but from a musician's point of view, we just need to like commit and keep pushing forward.
I mean, I have to say this. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think Gibraltar is a gig going public. To be completely honest. I mean, you get people going to places, but no matter who you are, los sitios aquí en Jib, they don't, unless
You said it, an A-lister.
An A-lister, yeah.
sí, pero no sé, I find Gibraltar is not a very big gig going public, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, that's my
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, you bring like a big star, and then there's
they'll
like
go.
queuing for tickets, and then they crash the buy online.
I suppose everywhere is the same for that,
Yeah.
no? Pero sí, it's true. I don't think that
The funny thing is that you bring someone who's probably come 10th in, Britain's Got Talent. He's come 10th. No one. And he packs out.
See, because you've seen him on the telly.
And then you get people who've been on the front
But
line
we've seen
for
you
years.
guys on the telly much more.
Pero at some point,
We lack orgullo.
it
I
happens
think.
everywhere at some point. The only thing is that we're very small, you know. But it's still in England, man. The A-listers will pack the places, and maybe a local band plays, and maybe 200 people go and see them.
So as musicians,
Here, in England, 200 people is nothing.
Because it's a bigger nation.
But here, maybe the equivalent is 20. You know what I mean?
Pero somos muy cómodos también because then we think, bueno, no importa, ellos van a tocar next week, otra vez, we go next week, pero después llega next week y estamos en la casita, we have everything.
No, it happens to me, man.
Yeah.
yeah, it happens to everyone.
But you are right, maybe we should like kind of like change that, you know, I think like Mag is trying to do that, you know, I think because it's 3 events that's going on this week,
Yeah.
¿no?
Yeah.
Y yo fui la primera que le dije a Stephen, I said to him, Tío, there's like so many events happening. I don't know, Nolan, you're there, you've got Back to the Classics también. Hay muchas cosas pasando. Digo, ¿cómo van a ir todo el mundo? Tú sabes cómo es el crowd de Libertad. Pero Noni has a lot of faith en los llanitos.
Good for Noni. We wouldn't be here without Noni.
Absolutely.
Surian, tell me something about you that not many people know.
Oh, I am very good at animal noises.
No. Seriously? Venga, choose, guys, choose one.
No, but out of 3, you can no.
No, hombre,
Vale,
let
just
her
one or
do
two.
what she wants.
No,
man. Come on.
Okay.
I need to do my best ones
Do
también.
the best
Claro.
one. Venga.
¿En serio lo voy a hacer?
Claro.
Oh, Dios mío.
Toma esto,
No, esto está
toma
mejor.
esto, ¿eh?
Un poquito de agua, espérate.
You never told me this when we
I
met.
can work with kids. And you've got to like be prepared. Bueno,
Yes,
venga.
Surian, you work with kids, no with animals.
No, pero tengo que hacer canciones como un McDonald's y cosas así.
Yes, I sing it to my grandfather, pero I digo oink oink.
Bueno. Espérate. ¿Cómo has hecho tú?
Oink oink.
No, y antes hiciste...
Sí, pero está chungo eso. No, ese es.
Ahí voy, ¿vale?
Yeah, that's good.
Tengo uno más.
Pero Suri, ¿qué hace todo eso con McDonald's fan?
Bueno, eso sí, parece sí en el chicken.
Eso tiene que
Y después tengo
eso tiene que
chocolate.
parar la guitarra y todo.
Sí, bueno.
Tú lo sabes.
Oh, my phone. Bueno, sí, tengo que parar ahí y después ya me pongo a hacer... Pero después tengo Jungle Son.
Qué bueno.
Es uno de... Está ahí otro. Oh, Dios mío, no me creo. Esto está grabado y todo, ¿no?
¿En serio está grabado esto?
Espérate, que voy, no me voy.
With real feeling, With real
pero
feeling.
es que le meto soul.
Ya, me estoy dando cuenta.
Le meto soul. Aunque bueno, anyway,
brilliant.
daría el elefante también, pero ya, no, that's too much. Ya, o sea.
23.
That's brilliant. It's
No,
been
no,
so
that's it.
nice to meet you, but we've got more guests. So,
Sorry.
ladies and gentlemen, Surian Dalmedo. Okay, so we were going to have a break at this point, but I think, shall we just carry on and have the next guest? Because I think we're on a roll here. Everyone's like cozy. I don't want to spoil it. Our next guest, let me read our next guest. So, he started singing at school at Loreto Convent, and his first band as a drummer was at age 16. And he signed at 21, recorded his first original in a studio at 21 with a band called Nutshell. He was in a couple of cover bands, including Murder of Crows and Sabotage. Then he became part of Voodoo Monkey. And now he's been for 10 years. They're celebrating their anniversary in November with Dead City Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome James Culato. Suri, if you stay on the sofa, and James can sit here, if that's okay, and then the rest of you just...
Is that how you wake Paul up in the mornings, with your cockerel sound?
No.
Pretty good, huh?
That was very good.
Can you compete with that? No, I'm asking James. Can you compete with that?
I'll keep my animal sounds to myself.
You sit in your show.
Yeah.
So James, thanks very much for being here today. There's a whole list. When I asked you to send me a bit of a bio, you sent me like 3 pages, and I had to condense it to a little bit, and I've left loads of stuff out.
I wasn't sure how much you
but
wanted.
That's
so.
okay, because now we can ask you a whole bunch of stuff.
Let's go for
so
it.
you started off as a drummer, a bit like Giles, and then you've ended up singing. How did that
I think
happen?
a lot of singers start off as
Really?
drummers. Yeah, I know quite a few. And,
So where do you find your voice as a drummer?
Similar to perhaps Charles's situation, I came, well, a little bit different, but kind of the same. I was back from uni on a midterm, and I was walking up Main Street and I saw a drummer, and without even thinking about it, the consequences of this, I said, we should start a band. And he went, well, I play drums, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'll sing.
But did you know you could sing?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. I hadn't
so that
sung
was just like...
since first school, so it was...
Okay, so you were in the choir at Loreto Convent?
No.
Not even that?
No. We used to do end-of-year plays,
Yes, I know.
and I was always Jesus.
Really?
Always Jesus, and I always had to sing, and I hated it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you've ended up singing with Dead City Radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
So tell me about your musical life, when you started singing. What was the best thing, drumming or singing?
I really love the drums, but I think singing, certainly the adrenaline that you get as a front man, I don't think you can beat it. No, I think everyone will agree with me on that.
Would you swap places with anybody else in your band?
No.
Okay. Flat. How does it make you feel? I mean, what just the buzz of being on a stage?
Yeah, I think it's different to most other experiences that you'll have in life, especially if you've got a really good crowd that's engaged with what you're doing, especially when you're singing your own stuff, and if the crowd know the words and they're singing it back to you, that's the best feeling.
Have you always written your songs, or did you do covers and then kind of
I've done,
evolved?
over the years, loads and loads of covers. Started off in covers bands, but really the last sort of 15 years been heavily concentrated on original material.
Okay, and how do people take that? Do they like that?
Yeah,
Do they
I think so.
prefer it? Maybe crowd and
I haven't asked the question. I don't really want to, but I think our original stuff is good enough.
Yeah.
I think. No, what do you guys think? Is it all right? Yeah. No? Okay. If
Okay.
they say it's good, it's good.
So how did you? I mean, you're in Dead City Radio. You're celebrating 10 years in November.
Yep.
Tell me how that started and how you got your band members and. How
I was
did it
in a
all-
band called Voodoo Monkey for several years, and we were doing very well on the local circuits. We played a lot with these guys, did loads of gigs, again, a lot of originals, but a lot of covers as well. Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, I don't know, Pearl Jam, all sorts of
always
stuff.
like rock? Is that kind of the genre that you play?
With bands, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when I do my own acoustic stuff, I will vary from Michael Jackson to whatever.
Wow, very different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And and then Voodoo Monkey sort of, I decided that I got a redundancy at work, so I'm sharing a lot of experience with Guy this time. And
Were you also living in England at the
no,
time?
no, I was living here.
Vale.
I've never
You never
chased
went off?
the dream
Right,
or
you never
anything like
okay.
that. And I got a redundancy, and really nice redundancy, like enough to take a couple of years out, kind of redundancy, which was great. And I decided to disband the band,
What, Voodoo Monkey?
yeah, and just sort of
do your own.
do my own thing, did a bit of traveling, and then decided I wanted to start a band again. So I handpicked, luckily enough, approached, 3 other people, and I said, I want you, you, and you. And they all said yes. And started a band. And I said, just do originals.
And how is that? Do you all kind of get on with it? Do you all see eye to eye?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few lineup changes over the years, some funny ones.
Oh, tell us about them.
We had
Tell us all the shenanigans.
some people in the audience will know this guy. He was playing bass for us. Lovely guy. Richard, he was in Voodoo Monkey with me as well. Really, really great guy, but very unreliable. And we had a gig at Rock on the Rock Club. I don't know if you might have been there, actually. We had a gig at Rock on the Rock Club, and we were. There was a band playing before us, a Rage Against the Machine tribute band, and we were playing after them. And Richard was nowhere to be seen, and so we were calling him, messaging him, calling him, messaging. Nothing. Turns out he'd had a wedding earlier in the day, got extremely drunk, forgotten to tell us about it, and ended up going home and falling asleep. And so even Paul Isola offered to play bass for us that night, but we just said no. So the next day we had to break the news to him that unfortunately,
He sacked him.
He then called me up 4 years later while we were playing in the UK at the... in Camden. We were playing in Camden, and I'm sat at the airport coming back, and my phone's ringing 4 a.m. in the morning, and it's Richard. And he's just like, I want to apologize for what I did.
How much later? Like a couple of days. Oh my God.
Look, I mean, in my eyes, he'd already apologized. Everything was cool, and like he's a great guy and everything else. But obviously, he felt that there was something he needed to say. So you can imagine us at 4 a.m, sat outside the airport, wretched, after doing a gig in London, and I was just like, why are you calling me now, man? So I want to apologize.
You still mates with him now?
Yeah, of course. I've always been mates with him. It's just I think he just felt he needed to get that off his chest.
Okay, tell me something. Why did you cut your hair? I think the last gig I saw you at last year, you had long hair, and you were like doing the head banging thing with your band, and so was Danny Gio on the stage, and you like
and Robin as well had long hair. He doesn't have long hair anymore.
I know, I've seen. What?
So
what's with the hair?
I do this thing that whenever I hit a zero in my age, just before I see it building up, I decide I'm going to grow my hair for when I hit that landmark. So I did it when I was 20, I did it when I was 30, and I did it again when I was 40.
Okay.
So now I'm going to start building up again for when
so
I'm
now you
50.
let it grow for another 10 years?
No, I'll keep it short until I'm about 48, and then I'll say now it's time to grow it again.
Okay.
Yeah. So my kids will love it
Interesting.
in 8 years' time. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. What's your favorite music style, James? And what do you like a bunch of different types of music?
I like to think that I like a lot of different styles of music. I've grown up listening to Joe Cocker, Queen, Michael Jackson, a whole load of other stuff. Obviously, the 90s came around and it was Oasis, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam. But I also loved Prodigy and a lot of the dance stuff as well.
So quite a varied...
Yeah, and nowadays it's heavy rock, but I also love instrumental stuff and progressive stuff and acoustic stuff. And
So you're doing a bit of everything.
I mean, when I'm writing stuff, it'll be the full. I'm currently working on an acoustic album, and that's totally different to all the other stuff with the band. So
We look forward to hearing that.
Let's see.
So when people go and watch you performing live, what do you want them to take home with them from
Happiness.
from your performance?
I want them to be happy. I like we were talking about the amount of people that go to gigs in Jib, and sometimes, I mean, we've been very lucky that over the years we've played to a lot of, decent sized crowds, packed out venues, but there's also the odd gig where 20, 30 people turn up. And our attitude, and we say this quite regularly in the band room, especially when a gig's coming up, is it doesn't matter how many people are there, as long as one person's had a good time, you've done it. It's that one person that counts. If everyone else didn't enjoy it, fine. But if that one person comes up to you afterwards and said, I really had a great time.
Is it difficult to look and see that there's like two people there? Do you feel disheartened? And if how do you just get on with it? Do you just put the show on anyway?
Yeah. I mean, Giles had a great story about not being anyone. It's happened to us before, where one of the annual shows in Jib, and I think a lot of musicians will remember this, aside from National Day, when you have Fair Week and there was a rock night at the fair, I remember organizing it with the youth 2003 or 2004, and we got like 500 people in that tent, but the bands had to go and sell tickets, and we sold 500 tickets to go see the Fair Rock concert. And then we played with Voodoo Monkey, probably at the peak of Voodoo Monkey's popularity, with with like Battle of the Band runner-up, with like Band of the Year. We had done all sorts of stuff, released an album, playing Rock on the Rock, 200 people every time we were playing. Brilliant. Did the Fair concert, and there was no one there. I mean, there was literally no one there.
Wow.
It was us and two other bands, and no one turned up for that gig. And it was like, it was a rehearsal. Yeah. 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 I changed the lyrics to the songs. I had a great time. I just
you did whatever you wanted
stuff
to
up,
do.
yeah.
Mina, how can the music scene in Jib improve? And are musicians doing enough? Or do you think the public should do more?
No, I think that we've come to a stage now where I hear all the stories about the 70s and the 80s, and I mean, I went to quite a lot of gigs in the 90s, and whenever I went to a gig in the 90s and early 2000s, it was always packed. And I think the attitude towards going to live music, I think that generation has now retired to the sofa on a Friday and Saturday night, and the younger ones, maybe they're not so interested in going to see live music. Maybe that's the thing.
Social media or something that changes
maybe,
people?
But I also think younger people are looking to get what they want instantly. The whole thing to do with social media and the now, I want that high now kind of thing, is to do with reels and with stories and with photos and short videos, and that's what they want. They want to hear the hook of a song. Yeah. If there's been a famous concert, they want the highlights.
Pero mira, I'm going to add something there. Apart from that, a young kid doesn't want to see an old man there. He's sweating there, singing. Man, come on, let's face it.
Yeah.
It's true. Es verdad, man. Young kids want to do what they want to do. That's another thing that Punk has told me, And the kids, if they want to listen to electronic music, pues mira, they want to listen to electronic music, or they want to listen to whatever.
Totally.
It's their time. You know what I mean? And obviously we are, the only difference is that maybe in some places, older people go out more and go and stuff. I'm not expecting a 20-year-old to come and see me, man.
At all.
Hombre, it would be cool. ¿Sabes qué te digo? Pero the reality is that.
Yeah, the generation that grew up listening to us have retired now. Yeah, I mean, Future Sounds won't book us anymore because we're too old. So.
But you're having a gig tomorrow night here, and there's quite a few young people who are musicians, and they're brilliant. Some of them are amazing.
Yeah.
So there are young
generation,
people who are into it.
It would be great if there's this new young generation attract a live audience as well. But I also think that what's a massive shame in Gibraltar is that there's never been a purpose-built live venue for live music. Ever. And that's something that is sorely missed and desperately needed. If you had a purpose-built venue, a venue where touring bands could come and play every week, you would have local bands supporting those touring bands. And that would just reignite, I think, the younger generation's interest in live music. And that's something that we should definitely have.
Interesting. Tell me, what's the best comment you've ever had about your music? Or the worst?
Oof. I don't know. I don't know.
Has anyone ever done to you what they've done to Suri and said, Kia, ¿qué estás haciendo?
Well, I tell you what, when I first started playing drums, we used to rehearse in the drama studio at Bayside. And our singer didn't turn up for a rehearsal. It was a lunchtime, and we were rehearsing for the school concert. So I said, oh, look, I'll sing and I'll play drums. I tried to do a Giles. And I think we were doing Robbie Williams' Angels or something. And I hadn't sung since first school. And Miss Walsh was there, watching us, and when we finished the song, she just said, "You sound like a drowning cat." And I thought, well, that's it.
That was
I'm
nice.
I'm not singing anymore. So
that was it.
when I saw Aaron in town years later, and I said, "Yeah, I'll sing," that did cross my mind that potentially, I didn't know if there's a genre where drowning cats are vocalists, and I could really fill in that kind of empty space. But
that's not very good to build you up, James. No. Yeah, exactly. Just as well. Tell me something.
The cats love it.
Do you think the GMF should be brought back to Jib?
I think if it's financially viable, it would be great. I like the idea of events-led tourism in Gibraltar, but I would much rather have a purpose-built venue where we have gigs all the time than have one gig a year where essentially we're spurting out 2-3 million quid just so we can have a jolly for 2 days.
Yeah.
My personal
Good
opinion.
answer. No, for sure. Lastly, I'm going to ask you about Made in Gibraltar. I think it's brilliant, your radio show where you promote local artists, local bands. How is that going? What is the feedback you're getting? And are you going to continue with it? I hope you are.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at, these guys have spoken about, ideal jobs and things they want to do. I always loved the idea of having a radio show where I'd put together my playlists on my iTunes and my Winamp, and all that stuff. And being in a local band and having my own songs and not hearing them on the radio upset me a little bit because I felt like, why aren't they giving bands like mine and several other bands more airtime on the radio? Yeah. So when Made in Gibraltar became vacant, because I think James Niche was doing it for a while, and he'd started introducing some other genres. He played a bit of one of my old bands briefly, and I was already working at GBC, and he left. So when Ian Daniels decided he wanted to revamp it, I suggested myself, because I felt like I would be fair to more musicians in Jib, because I kind of knew them all from gigging or doing my freelance writing or whatever. And I felt like I could give them a bit more of a platform, a bit more of an insight. And it started off as a 30-minute show, and very, very quickly it became a 1-hour show. Then I was able to start doing interviews, and the library expanded from literally a couple of hundred songs to several hundred songs. Whereas the first year, maybe we were getting 20 or 30 new songs a year that were good enough to play on the radio, because it has to be a certain recording standard. I refuse to play stuff that's off an iPhone, for example. I want the music to sound good because it's a representation of what you're doing as an artist. And I don't want people to hear you and go, that sounded really bad. So I'm thinking about the artist as well. Whereas in the last 12 months, I think there's been nearly 100 songs that I can play on the show. So the standard's just gone right up. And we're not playing covers. It's all original material.
That's fantastic.
Which is the most important thing.
You're getting their voices out there, which is exactly what you need. So
yeah.
Well done you, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, James Gulato.
I'll go sit up there. No, because
So you're going to have to budge up because Lily's not very big. She can squeeze in here. We've got Lily next. She's a Londoner. She's not from Gibraltar, although she's a Janita now. She embarked on her musical journey at a very young age. She immersed herself in the arts of piano. She'll tell you all about it because it's quite a nice story. She's a teacher and she arrived in Gibraltar and created the Gibraltar National Choir. So her genre is a little bit different. It's more classic trained, but we're going to hear all about it. Lily Olivero, welcome to the stage. Great, thank you very much for joining us, Lily.
Thank you.
It's really nice to have you. You're a Londoner.
Yes.
Born and bred.
Gibraltarian by stealth.
Okay. What's your favourite thing about living in Gib?
I think it's the most beautiful place I've ever been to. In fact, it's 30 years to this month, I think, that I got off the plane and I thought, this place is amazing. Just fell in love with it, and that's it.
And here you are, 30 years later.
30 years later.
Amazing. So how did you end up here, and what got you? How did you end up here, first of all?
I met a Gibraltarian in London, and he became my husband back then. Got married in Gibraltar, lived there, and then moved here. And
Okay.
had my
And
children.
you're here, still here, which is great.
Yes.
Tell me about learning the piano. So you said you learned it at a very young age, but it's a little bit of a sad story. I remember you
Yeah.
telling me.
Well, I had a piano in the house. My lovely brother made sure that there was a piano in the house. And I remember being 3 or 4, just looking up at the keys, and then went to piano lessons. But that brother, unfortunately, died in a car accident. So my memory of learning the piano and music is intrinsically tied to him, the memory of him. So I feel very emotional attachment to music in general, learning the music, being very loyal to going to the lessons, even though I was slapped on the wrist so many times by this horrible old lady, my first piano teacher, and I was only 4. I was only 3.5, 4.
You're very
Yeah.
young to learn.
She was a neighbour, but she was the old school way of teaching back then, in the 70s.
Yeah.
And but I loved it so much because I saw the joy in my mum's eyes, and even back then I thought, wow, what is this? It's like a superpower. I was a good girl, but something happened to other people when I touched the keys and played. I thought this is something special, even back then.
You felt
So I-
felt that, no? When you were playing, when you were being taught it.
Yeah.
You felt it was something.
Even though I probably had really, really horrible, screamy, shouty teachers. In those days, they had rulers in their hand. Slap.
That's awful.
A slappy slap on the hand. But I was just loyal to this memory of I must be doing it. I have to do this. I have to do this.
It didn't stop you. It didn't stop you continuing with your piano.
No.
Are you still playing the piano now?
I play, but obviously the teaching is one of my first loves because I finished my grade 8. I think I was 14. Finished grade 8. Finished all my theory exams, everything, and I was thrown into teaching just by accident. In fact, everything in musically has been by accident. A headmistress at school. I went to a very strict convent school in London. She just turned up into the classroom and said, "Lily, look, the music teacher's away. Could you please take the music lesson?" And I was 14. And I thought, what is she talking about? So I did it, and that was my first push into and I was teaching my peers, which is even worse.
What did they respect you?
They loved it.
Did
They loved it. I was scared,
Could they
but
get
I think we analysed a pop song, which for them was rare, because normally it would be Beethoven, Mozart. Fine, beautiful, fantastic, but it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. But
So your street cred went up.
street cred went up.
That's
yeah.
good.
That was it.
So what did you do after that? What did you get into? What kind of music did you get into after your...
After
school
about
and
13,
after-
I think went into songwriting, did loads of demos, and from 13, and my mum always said to me, "I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a doctor." And unfortunately, if you're good at academics and music, it was a bit. I was torn because I did quite well at school. Was fine. I was a good girl. Studied, but I really loved music. But I had this thing of, oh no, my mum now wants me to do this, and I held off until my A-levels, and in the year of the A-level summer, I got a letter back from CBS Records back then, before it became Sony. And they said, we love your demos, come and see us.
Amazing.
And
So-
for me, I was, what?
Yeah. Wow.
Again, changed the course of what I would have done that summer, I think. I was thinking, should I go to university? Should I not go to university? What shall I do? But that changed my mind.
And what did you do?
instantly. Well, I was taken under their wing. I was only 18 and didn't have a very good management system behind me. But I had to sing in studios. I had to prove my craft to them for about 6-7 months. I became a session singer through that and sang hundreds of demos for people. I had songwriters coming in. I had to learn the song in 2 hours, record perfectly with the right amount of vibrato,
Wow,
all different genres. I had
really?
producers sitting behind me, songwriters sitting over there. I was under massive pressure. And
How did you deal with
that? I don't know how I dealt with it. I went to the toilet and cried and came back out again. I don't know how I dealt with that situation. I had people coming. I had like Lee John from Imagination. I don't know if you know Imagination back then. He's still quite big actually. He would come in. Fairly well-known people would come to his, but my job was to sing and session sing, and that's a really different discipline.
And how long did you do that for?
Oh, for years, about 4 or 5 years I did that.
Okay.
So, nothing came of the CBS thing, but it got me through and I met other people. And but basically it's very difficult for girls, very, very difficult for
We were
women.
having this conversation before.
It is still difficult for girls. I mean, they need protection, they need a really good, firm group of people behind them to make sure they're safe.
Good support system, no?
100% safe. Yeah, it's yeah. So it was tough.
A strong state,
Yeah.
strong state of mind. Being a woman, you have to.
Is there a microphone?
Sorry. Hello. No. Okay, ahora, sorry, back in the room. Okay, you need to have a strong state of mind also about being a woman in the music industry.
Yeah.
Because you need that background, you need those people around you, but you have to have your mind strong enough to deal with all the nitty-gritty things that goes around you. And people will try it on, men will try it on. Like I've been in an awkward situation where it's been so I don't want to take over. Eh?
No.
But I've been in a party, and there've been businessmen around or whatever. And this is why I think that we are all very guided, and there's always some kind of protection over us. And I remember being with a Gibraltarian friend there, and like we were having a drink. It's free drinks and stuff. And I remember putting my drink on the actual on the bar, and this high-class flyer, I could see them like they were extending, and they kind of like put something inside that drink, yeah? Wow. And I remember saying to my friend, check these guys out, this is what they've done. I can guarantee, they're going to be, around us all night. And they didn't leave us side, they were waiting for the drugs to work. Obviously, they never did. Yeah, but it happens. So, and these are people like sex, like in high status in the music industry. Yeah. So you have to be very, very careful. If they think, oh yeah, they're naive, look at them, they're young, whatever. And they do try it on, so you get it everywhere. In the most places that you feel that you're going to be most safe,
Did you find that, Lily, as well, in situations?
Yeah, I was flown. I went to LA, and I've got family in LA, but I had a record company that wanted to see me over there. I went to the top guy, but I was alone in a room, and he said, oh yeah, I love the demo, but can I take you to dinner? And I thought, right, that's it. In my head, that was it for me. And by then I was 24, approaching 25. And also, age is a big thing when you're in that singer-songwriter mode as a girl, or as a guy even. I think that cut-off point is 25. And I thought, you know what, I'm literally going to shut the door on this and live a normal life. And I closed the door, and then revisited music happily in Gibraltar when I started teaching again. And yes.
So you're also a vocal coach,
Yes,
which is
I
what you're
am.
doing now. Tell me about the training for that.
Well, the training came from the days of me being a session singer.
Right.
And I had people around me there. I actually had some coaching. I had a classical coach. He was in the BBC Singers, and I was taken for a few lessons with him. But the discipline of singing, it's just such a personal thing. It's an instrument, but it comes from your body. You have to build trust. And I love to see the result, but I go into the voice and I go into the nitty-gritty part of the voices that people have problems with. But I love it because I like to see the transformation.
Giles is sitting behind you nodding away because he does a bit of that as well. Do you agree with that, Giles?
Completely. And I think it's very important to know the limits of every person. You cannot expect someone to reach high notes if that's not their voice.
Yeah.
So you have to get the best of them within their capabilities. I think that's very important.
It must be
Yeah.
very rewarding, not to teach children and
Love
to
it.
see them grow and then develop
Yeah.
into
Love
singers.
it, absolutely love it. As a teacher, social media is great. I was approached from behind the scenes by X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, and the producers approached my social media to say, we can see some of your students, because I used to put a couple of students up with parents' permission, and a couple of them got into the pre just before going on to the live show.
That's
and it was going
Quite
through
proud for you. Yeah.
through the audition stage and getting them there. And one of them in Spain actually got into the finals, and she made it into the final.
Wow.
But
That's good.
no, I love that. I love giving back.
So
yeah.
you came back to Jib, and
Yeah.
what happened? Did doors open for you here? What was it like when you
I was
came to
minding
Jib?
my own business. I was having Gibraltarian children. I had no intention of going back into anything like that. It's just when I got married here, I had a great band at my wedding. Can't remember the name. What was their name? It was mid-90s, so it was Take Two, I think it was, something like that. They were playing at my wedding. It was somebody. I remember them playing. And Perez. Who's the? It's not
Robert
in the 90s.
Robert Perez. After Hours.
Two, yeah. After Hours, it could have been. After Hours, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Galliano, who's on the keyboards?
Giuliano.
Galliano, yeah.
Trevor.
Not Neville. It was
Trevor.
Trevor, yeah.
Trevor.
Anyway, they played at my wedding. And then there was a particular song somebody wanted me to sing, which is quite ironic because I'm divorced now, but but I sang "Endless Love" that night, so it's a bit ironic. and there's video proof of it somewhere. I don't know. So people, there's about 300. I thought Gibraltar's unbelievable. I had 10 people of my side and about 300 people from the groom side. And I got married here because I loved it here. Normally you get married in the bride's country, but I loved it here anyway. So from that memory, I think when was it, year 2003, they approached me to take over a particular choir that was already here. I said, no, don't worry, no, but fell into it and formed a national choir. I thought we needed a Gibraltar National Choir. And
how successful was the Gibraltar
Amazing.
National Choir?
It was hundreds of people came through the process. It was 15 years of our lives, and we sang everywhere. National days, in the cave, St. Michael's Cave.
You also travelled with it, didn't you?
We went to Spain. Honestly, we've done amazing things.
So that was quite a proud
lovely,
moment for
very,
you,
very proud.
heading that choir.
Yeah, amazing.
And what's been your proudest moment in your musical career, do you think?
Just passing on the knowledge to. I really feel that I've been lucky, and it's such an amazing feeling to connect. When you're doing music, you're connecting with someone's soul, and it comes from your soul, and it's something you can't describe it. It really is a superpower, and I want to give that as soon as I can to somebody else without the slapping of the ruler on the wrist, right? And I sometimes tell that story to my pupils when they're sitting there happily with smiley faces. Yeah. I say, and I tell them, can you just move your elbow like that, because your posture's got to be good on the piano as well, but can you move your elbow? Oh, but I can't move my elbow. I said, look, remember my little story with the ruler? Do you want to slap on the hand? Oh, I can't do that now.
You'll never forget that, will you?
I won't ever forget that.
So I'm going to ask quite a difficult question. I'm sure all of you are going to have an opinion on this. Okay, so sometimes, and it seems to happen a lot in Gibraltar, people are asked to perform, and then you're told that there's no money in it, that you're not going to get paid. And I think quite a lot of you have said that. Well, a few of you have said that. What do you think about that? Do you think you should be paid, or are you happy to?
Every time
Oh,
get
well,
paid.
But then did
every
they bring
single time.
all these bands from other places who are paid a lot of money?
I mean, I think musicians in Jib do a lot of work for free for charities already. And I think it's a real shame that maybe it doesn't happen so much now, but certainly in the early 2000s when I started singing and gigging, it was common practice for the support band not to get paid. And I can tell you that I did 20, 30 gigs in the period of 2 or 3 years, and my band never saw a penny, ever.
Have you all had that experience a little bit? Yeah.
Also, it has to say we went in this for the money from the beginning. if
No,
we
no,
were- you
no.
know what I
I'm
mean?
not. Yeah, absolutely. But I
It's-
think
it's great. It
if
just
you're-
makes it fair. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, of course. That's what we were talking about, Lily.
I
When
pay.
Lily-
I mean, when we had the choir, for example, the choir was a vehicle for soloists to come, because I didn't want soloists within the choir, because we had a nice team effort, the choir itself, and I didn't want to sort of isolate a solo. I was very, very careful about keeping the camaraderie going. So when you suddenly pick a soloist, so we had any soloist that would come in, I would pay them, make sure we had money to pay the soloist, whether it came from private sponsorship, but I would pay them £100 a song. So if somebody sang four songs, £400 flat. I mean, that was done. I would
part of the
never
choir,
ever.
no?
Yeah, part of the choir. We were an association, Gibraltar Association. We raised our own money for various concerts through companies that were sponsoring us all the time, 2 or 3 times a year. But we always made sure that if we had a soloist, there must be money to pay those soloists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, one last thing, because I think we've been chatting for a long time in general. You're joined a jazz band now.
Well,
so tell us about that and what's next for you.
I played with the Paul Riley big band. There's a big band in Gibraltar, but I've actually left now.
Okay.
but it was 8 years I was doing that, and that opened a different genre of music. And I loved the jazz night at the Elliott, loved it, and still love it. I think it's back again. But it's a completely different genre of music. It blows my mind. I mean, because I was classically trained, the improvising really, really is something I wish I could be better at, because I was taught to read, and that sort of clips your wings a bit when you want to improvise. So I love watching and listening to jazz, yeah.
Well, good luck with your
Thank
next
you.
step, and thank you very much for being here, ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen. Lily Olivero.
Thank you very much, thanks.
So my last guest is another superhuman. She's a superpower. She's full of life. She loves reggaeton. She sings an Afrobeat because of her mix of cultures. She's an acoustic singer. We saw her perform live at the New Year's Eve concert in Casemates. She's discovered her passion for music at the age of 3 and started writing music at the age of 6. And she's just a lovely, lovely person. Welcome to the stage, Karima. Mira, she went home to change. Tell everybody the story.
I thought that this was going to be quite a chilled show.
It is
As
a
it
chill
is.
show. Look, everybody's
Yes.
just chilling, having beers.
Yes, but my mother and my boss
Ah.
said, Chiquilla, que eso va a estar grabado y va a salir en la tele y va a mirar como una junkie. So here Karima goes, and she goes home, and she starts getting all dressed. I looked like I was going on a date. So I had
Yeah, she
my
came with a
hair
lovely
wrapped,
lime-colored top
yeah,
and
my heels
and her tacones.
pantalón, and I thought...
And then
I
she
need to-
saw all of us.
Yeah, man. I see everyone and I'm thinking, okay, compa. And then I have to walk home in tacones. And no, hombre.
So just as well I put you last, because you were able to go home and get changed, you see?
Perfect timing.
So thank you very much for being here, Karima. I think it's very deserved that you are here. You're a great personality, and I didn't know you before, but I saw you at the New Year's Eve concert, and I thought, who is this girl? And then I saw you on City Pulse. You did a whole program with Kevin, and I got to know you a little better. And then you came home, and we chatted, and we were there for over an hour. So tell me, you started singing at the age of 3. Tell me how, where, and how that happened.
For the first time that I sang was in Hula Baloo or Hubaloo. I'm not sure what the show was called.
I think it
on
was
GBC.
Hullabaloo on GBC, no? Hullabaloo?
¿Cómo se llama?
Hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo.
Well, that's where I was on. And I sang when I must have been 3 or 4. I'm still waiting to have that video. And I hope that GBC don't play it like they did last time, que me hicieron un mamarrachen on telly. And I had glasses with sellotape, the moñito here on the side. And my mom always used to say, that when I used to get the bus to go to nursery or to school, that I wouldn't stop singing. However, that day on the show, I saw the camera and Karima did not speak. So, so I just stood there and I just said, no, I didn't make it así. And then I remember that the host at the time had to convince me to sing with her, and that's where I started, really. Well, no, that's where I started on TV, pero en mi casa no me callo. So.
And then at the age of 6, you were able to write. Do you still remember what you wrote?
There's still a song that I still wrote. So I still remember, and it was called "It's My Life." And I still remember the tune, the words, todo. I remember the chorus. And I had this book que decía Big Value, the ones that are in Palm Paradise. And I used to write everything there. And I remember telling my mom, because my mom, I probably know, like every mom is going to say to their child, mira, believe in yourself and you're gonna get there. But in la música it doesn't always work that way. So my mom was always a little bit skeptical because she was probably thinking, en verdad, this is Jib, la niña no va a llegar a ningún lado. And I remember telling her, like, do you believe in me? And she's like, sí, pero la gente te van a criticar. And she told me that at 6. And I remember thinking, porque me critiquen. I'm like, what? I'm going to die in the same grave as everyone else is. Why am I going to live for everyone else's opinion except my own? So then I carried on. And it's really just been that. My cousins, my family, we sort of have this trend that all the women are singers and all the men are soldiers. So I would go to prayer meeting, I would go to church when I was younger, so all my cousins would sing, and I would be there in the choir con los viejecitos. Yo ahí chiquitita cantando con los viejecitos. And I loved it. Okay, I just carried on, and aquí estoy.
Aquí está todavía singing. Culturally, you're British, Spanish, and Moroccan, of Moroccan heritage. How has that been an influence on your music?
Bueno, Spanish, I'm not Spanish, pero te digo la verdad, British tengo poco. I'm telling you now, I'm speaking here in English to make an effort because me cuesta. My dad is Moroccan, my family is from Tangier, and my mom's family is Maltese. And I was born here in Gibraltar. And I think my music reflects a lot of who I am, but I think it's also because, I like to be different. So I think that when you sort of fit into this mainstream that everyone else does, no one's gonna notice that you're there. ¿Sabes? You need to have that difference to say, oh, mira, this girl's a bit weird or this girl's a bit different, and that's how you start to attract attention. And como I like to sing Spanish, and in my family we only speak Spanish, I thought, why not bring my culture from Morocco? My soul is in Spain, let's be honest. Like me encanta el flamenco, and I love reggaeton. I like something that I can dance to, that I'm going to be happy with. I don't like the messages that reggaeton portrays, pero todo el mundo va a bailar en un club. So algo que tenga beat y el flamenco que tiene mucha arte, and then I just fused mi huzo and my cultures together, and
that's your music.
Yeah.
And you're very passionate about your family. You've mentioned your family, your mum a lot. You've written a very important song about your mother. How important has their support been to you while you've been doing gigs and in the music industry?
Mi madre es mi number one fan, hasta el día que se muera. Mi madre, she's very proud of who I've become and what I do. And I think also because of my mindset, no? Like, when you all were talking, I was nodding there, thinking, yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I agree. It's the reality. I think we all go through the same sort of process at some point, and we all have one point que tú dices, yo estoy harto ya de esta cosa, and you just want to just lie on the couch y tomar por saco con todo, because it pasa. Pero you have to keep going. Oh, you go if you want to keep going, no? But you have to have that mindset to know you are not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So people are going to like you, people are going to not like you, some people are going to like your style and some people aren't. But the main thing is that you all have to have that respect for each other and support each other when you need it. And my mom, en verdad, has been to every gig, at least she's tried to. She's not here today, but she's there all the time. Mi madre, my mom and my auntie are two peas in a pod. You know, they're twins. Con que where there's one, there's two. And then my uncle comes to tag along, so there's three. Pero no, they always come with me, and family to me is important. Pero te digo la verdad, like, I'm trying to say it in English, like, no. I'm trying to not say a rude word, pero ole mi familia, because a donde yo he luchado and yo he llegado lejos y me ha costado what you cannot imagine what I have done to get to where I am, and 3 people come to my show, and that is my mom, my auntie, and my uncle. because no one else comes. And it's the reality because there's no support.
Tell us a bit about the struggles that you've had along the way, and the fact that you were telling me that being Gibraltarian hasn't really helped you.
Bueno,
That is an interesting topic.
being Gibraltarian has closed every door that I've ever had. La verdad. I was on the X Factor for the past 3 months, and I've done what you can't imagine. Like, I normally don't go out like this. I have braids all the time, so I mean, that hurts. It's constantly, que si el pelo, que si my style, que si I travel, que si I ask my boss to take leave, the money, everything to get to where I am. And the X Factor, I tried so hard, and they specifically wanted me because of the different styles that I had. Pana, because then I get to the last stage, 3 days just before the live shows. No, es que lo que pasa que como eres Janita.
Did they actually tell you that?
Yeah, I spoke to them. I know on WhatsApp. And it just got to the point that I thought, mira, if politics are going to come across and if they're going to stop me, cool. A mí me da igual. Yo lo vargo. Yo voy como L'Oreal, yo lo vargo. A mí me da igual. Yo tengo esa Janita española, me da igual. Pero no me gaste el tiempo, ¿sabes? Like, I have things to do. I have money to save. So why am I spending so much time and effort y las ilusiones, ¿sabes? And like, everyone in Gib knew that I was going.
Yep.
But everyone in Gib also knew that being Gibraltarian was going to stop me. Because
Really?
yeah,
Is that
because
what you were told? Like,
Yeah, I've been told.
by a lot of people.
Yeah, and one that had actually experienced something in the show, and they told me, they said, ten cuidado, because te van a decir que si Jib, que si Spanish, que si yo, que si que. A mí me da igual. I don't care what people say, if Jib is Spanish, if Jib is this. I haven't come for politics. I've come to sing. If you have your opinions, vale, cool, keep them home. I'm not here for that.
Have any of you had experience like that? Where being Gibraltarian has closed the door for you? It's interesting to know.
Personally, I think that when we released the album, we were told at the time, and this was a big company, CBS, BMG, oh, this is going to be the best thing next to sliced bread in Spain. Oh, I said pepinazo by the record company. 6 months later, we were dropped. And we never got a why. We never got an answer as to why the band was dropped. We also knew at the time that there was another band from Madrid, creo, Malaga, I can't remember. El Hombre Gancho, justamente. And they were also, they were either going to spend money with them or with us. I still believe it was politics, I do. And I've had rows with the band about this because they didn't want to believe it. I knew it was politics, definitely. Then we obviously had Melon Diesel at the top también. So in Spain, 2 Gibraltarian bands breaking? I don't think so. Pero bueno.
But it hasn't stopped anybody, you Rima especially, from doing what you want to do, from just moving on and carrying on with what you like doing.
Yeah, I mean, when I was 20, 21, I started recording with Radio Magandé. And the first thing that they told me was, ¿Tú quieres llegar lejos? Start singing in Spanish. Change all your songs in Spanish. And I started to, and I started to translate them. Pero la verdad que they didn't make sense. Because it was just, when you write, if you do not write with passion, you're not writing. You're just putting words on a paper. If you're not going to perform with passion, then what you're doing is just making noise. ¿Sabe? Con que when I started changing the language, I thought, I'm just going to have to change the style completely and the song completely because it's not me. But the person who I have become, I have been told that I suit more the English language. And yo te digo personally, I hate singing in English. It's not who I am. Pero I know that I do suit certain things more, and I accept it, no pasa nada. Pero tú me pones a mí cantando flamenco o el español, and the fire that you feel as an artist, no penny is going to be, like, no penny can compare to what you feel. So, like, no sé, I mean, I think that, no sé, like, everyone supports, like, different styles, but it's also, I don't know, no sé cómo explicártelo. I don't know.
What are your songs about?
Men.
Men.
Because men give me headaches, so men.
So you put it like Taylor Swift, you put it in your music?
Oh, no, I don't know. No,
not as bad, not as bad.
No, a ver, it's usually about love, no? Pero it's not about love. It's about, like, the feeling, what people experience. And usually, a ver, I have to accept it. I just turned 30, vale?
Woohoo, she turned 30 yesterday, guys.
No, I'm going to be 29 for the rest of my life, vale? Pero I do have, my girls are in their 20s, early 30s, con que we have all of these experiences in relationships and in life and how sometimes, just things get hard. Con que cuando me lo cuentan, I absorb that in, I take that in, and I write songs from experiences that my friends tell me or that colleagues tell me or that I experience myself. And I think everyone has a different perception on what love is, on what you feel, and the intensity. And it's just interesting to see really when people just talk to me. I've been sitting in a restaurant and I'm hearing someone gossiping and I'm like, cállate. And I'm there listening to the conversation and I start writing notes. And my mom's told me, she's like, tú estás loca perdida. And I'm like, ah, what? No pasa nada.
So you take a notebook with you everywhere just in case you get
Well, no,
inspiration.
I take my phone.
Are you writing on
That's
your
notes.
phone, of course.
Pero apart from the song of my mum, it's usually men. la
What,
verdad.
okay, what do you love most about living and performing in Jib?
Living in Jib. Te estoy escuchando. Living in Jib. What's not to like? No, I mean, everyone here knows each other. I am very proud to be Janita. I love that everyone knows each other, even though not everyone likes each other. Pero I love where I'm from. I don't like performing here. It's the reality. I'm not going to lie about it. I don't feel like we are supported here, la verdad. And I've struggled a lot through it, and I'm not going to lie. I've gone home y yo he llorado. And I've cried and I thought, toma por saco, ya yo paso desde aquí. But then you have some people that you think, mira, they make an effort to help you. Like they make, it's not that you look for other musicians to help you, but okay, the support is so important. And it's not so much about what musicians have to do to change it or the public has to do to change it. La gente no van a venir. It's that simple. We live in a generation that is all social media. You look at my social media and I have thousands of views. And I get people who double click all the time. Venga, cool. Where are you seeing me on the show when I
That's
have
what
been
we were
rehearsing?
talking about. What Guy was saying as well.
Yeah, like I've rehearsed for 4 or 5 hours. Y nadie viene. And I think, ¿pa qué? You know, like I'm happy as being outside in my house with a barbecue with my neighbors than being in un club. ¿Pa qué?
I just want to jump in and say that at least during my lifetime as a musician, the times where artists have been like had the best support at gigs is when there's been a scene built around it, and you've got 3 or 4 bands or 5 or 6, and they're working together and they're doing gigs together. I've done countless gigs with Adrian, where we've packed out places because we've worked hard together. I think it's a real shame that Rima doesn't have a scene around her where there's several artists that are doing a similar kind of thing, not the same but similar, and you've got that audience that you all combine together to make that scene, and then when you have a gig, you're playing to a packed house. And that's where your genre, your style, does not suit performing live in Gibraltar, and you have to go abroad. Yeah. It's,
Pero eso tocando con 20 gente.
Lo mismo que ella.
Pero
¿Sabes? Te digo.
It's not so much the 20 gente, it's just the fact that, mira, for example, James and I have a completely different style. Completely. Y él me lo ha dicho y todo. Like, I'm not fond of his style, he's not fond of mine. But we support each other, so he puts me on the radio, ¿sabes? And I know that my style, I'm not going to be constantly in Spain. Like, yo siempre lo digo, yo soy Janita y yo voy a llevar el nombre de Libertad hasta donde tenga que llegar. And I'm proud to be where I'm from. But how can I say that I'm proud to be where I'm from, where people don't come to support me? ¿Sabes? And I admit que yo también, yo tengo, like, because I just don't like rock. No, I don't like rock. I don't like an English scene. And I know that in Jib, that's the mainstream of things. It's not that I don't support the person. It's just that I just don't support the music. No me gusta, la verdad. And I can tell you that I have supported one band since the age of 15. I went once, me lo pasé bomba, and to this day, I still go. Now I'm going a bit less, really, because now I'm doing my music and no tengo tiempo. But that band, to me, I've seen them go through years and they get better, and I enjoy it every time I go. And there's a scene there, there's like a little family every time that goes, y me lo paso bomba. And that band is the only band that has ever said, Karima, va a cantar con nosotros? So I go, because that is there. And he's sitting there, it's Jetstream, con que Nolan is there. Y el único band que ha dicho, ¿te quieres venir a cantar? ¿Sabes? And it's something que you think, like, mira, yo te apoyo porque tú me apoyas. And it's just that kind of vibe. Y tú dices, venga, cool. Pero it's unfortunate que...
Don't you think in Jib that artists do support other artists in general?
I think that, yes, we do support each other in the sense of, you know, like with James and everything, eso sí. But it depends. Like, for example, I don't like rock and all that. But I support you as a person. But for example, I only know Giles because he technically used to be my family. Si no, no sabía quién era, en verdad. Después, Adrian porque hace flamenco y es mi estilo.
Sorry, no quiero interrumpir, but I think also you should do things without expecting things from anyone, or expecting things. Do you see what I mean? You should just do it. Aunque te vaya un gato, aunque te vaya 20, pero no espere. Just do it porque tu corazón te lo dice.
Yeah, but like I I've been through that, ja. Like, I've been through the whole thing. Like, I got signed last year, and it was the proudest moment, no? And I put it on Speak Freely because todo el mundo es muy cotillo aquí en Libertad, and they go on Speak Freely and they will judge you anyway. And I thought, why am I going to pay for marketing when we have Speak Freely? So I went for it, I put it, and que verdad, como no se come todo. And even if you don't like me, van a decir, mira esta, que la han firmado. O sí, me han firmado. Que you don't like me, van a decir, uy, mira, but everyone va a ser cotilla, and they're going to go to my profile. And they're going to go to my thing. And that's exactly what happened. And I have over 4,000 followers on my Instagram because people have been looking. I had 1,000 y pico people see that I got signed. And it wasn't a really big thing, but it was a proud moment for me. So what did Viceroy do? The establishment there, they said, mira, Karima, we're going to do a show to do your first gig as a signed artist. Mi madre, mi tío, mi tía y mis 3 amigas con sus novios. No one else went. And I te lo juro por Dios, I admit it now because I have no problem. I have not cried after a gig so much like I did that day because it was such a big thing, everyone supporting. Me alegro por ti, te lo merece, because we see how you're struggling, we see how you're doing it. Where are you? Where are you? Con que that double click, genial.
Rima,
Pero no
you
me
get
cuenta.
in the radio, and then you sell lots of records, and then it will be packed. And
no.
everybody will say, I used to go to Rima.
No, si
every
ya me-
time
ya
she
me-
played. Because I've seen it happen.
Pero ya me ha
And everybody
pasado,
knows why, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, es así.
Yeah, y me ha
así.
pasado. I've done my music
Oh, qué
videos.
monstruo, qué monstruo.
Ay, esa niña
¿Verdad?
cantaba conmigo en la escuela.
Qué monstruo,
Y yo,
¿eh?
todavía canto, pero tú no sabes. And it's that, no? And that day after that gig, I left. I went to Viceroy. I went, thank you very much. No me pague. Put the mic down. I went home. Me cogí un barbecue con mi familia, toqué la guitarra, y todos mis vecinos me vinieron. Because those are the people who support me. ¿Sabes? And this whole thing about what you said that I completely agree with, doing gigs without getting paid. ¿Tú que trabajaron? De verdad, yo te lo digo, I would pay for charity when it's a charity. Pero do you know how many hours we all spend? Hours on end. Al menos, yo por lo menos te lo digo, and I know that they do because I know them all. Digo, money, hours, your personal time, the stress, the preparation. Para que diga, no, es que es for charity, puede tocar una hora. Tú me vas a pagar todas esas horas que yo he hecho para ensayar, where I'm not seeing my family or my boyfriend or I'm training. Do you know how fat I have gotten because I cannot go to the gym because of the amount of time that I am here rehearsing? Y después tú dices, no, es que es for charity. La madre que te parió charity. Digo, ya está, they go to charity. Yo te lo digo de corazón. I no longer do free gigs. I don't. And if someone tells me, es que Karima, búscate otro. We have un montón de great artists in gym. Find another one, because yo no lo hago ya. And it's
Well
true.
done, you. Your attitude is brilliant, eh?
Because I do not
Yeah, but-
have any
but she says it very-
filter in saying this is who I am and this is my mindset, and it is not negative. It is realistic.
Has anyone ever told you sound like Yalta Pons? Like a younger version? Her
Jarta.
husband's there somewhere.
Escúchame.
But you remind me quite a lot of Yalta, eh?
Tú la
I've gotta
escuchas,
say.
no, tú la escuchas. Vale, espérate.
Do you agree with me? A bit?
Jarta, for me, she used to teach me how to dance, ¿vale? When I was chica. Yo te digo, I was fat when I haven't changed. Pero en verdad, I was a chubby child when I was small. Y Jarta had me there in a leopard thing ahí, como si fuese un bikini o algo, haciendo hueque. And to this day, she still does the dance there, hueque. And she taught me how to dance for my last video of 1, 2, 3. A mí no me importa, que lástima que I cannot put that video here, because that video you just see me going like that, pero es una tonta, no sabe cómo bailar. Y Jarta, no, tú lo vales, tú tienes que ser esto, because you're an artist and you have to manifest it and believe it. And I did. I was going to sing the boxing event, and I didn't want to go because I thought it was a very manly event. I didn't feel very comfortable, if I'm honest. Not because of anything, it just I
See,
didn't
the
feel
boxing
comfortable.
thing.
See, but I went,
Insane,
and she's like, you have to
insane.
manifest it porque tú lo vales, go. I went, and you know what happened?
What happened? I wanted, because you were talking to me about it in my house.
I went, it went great, en verdad. One of the first, I'm not going to lie, the first time they did it during halftime and everyone went out to smoke. And I was like, well, that was not the right moment for me to sing because everyone left. But then in the second one, I stayed, it was great. But that's not the point. I went and I put myself into an uncomfortable, not so much uncomfortable, no, but where I felt a bit insecure. But you know what happened? I found my new boyfriend. That's what happened.
Oh!
So, por causa de Jarta, That's what happened.
You
Con
see?
que, mira, todo pasa por algo.
Great.
Que todo
So,
pasa por algo.
Yo
en la
no
vida.
soy
Everything
chavo.
happens for a reason.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
that's
yeah, we talked about it.
Everything happens for a reason, Rima.
It's here, it's tattooed here.
Pero es así, pero that's why your experiences and everything you've been through, like through the industry, todo, it's made you like where you are right now and who you are right now. It's giving you this kind of mindset. So you had to go through that journey to reach where you are now. Y está tan harta que dice, mira, aquí estoy, voy a seguir para adelante, and you're doing your thing now.
Yeah, like I
Okay,
don't
you
have,
have to go through that.
I don't have a filter anymore. I think that if you need to say something, say
Why
what
waste
you
time, no?
Yeah,
Claro.
like say what you
Well,
feel.
it's good that you're only 30 and you don't have a filter. Most people don't have a filter when they're a bit older, but you've started now, so good for you.
But I get I mean, I have the mindset that I'm proud of who I am and what I'm doing. And I said this in an interview recently, yo hago lo que me da la gana, cuando me da la gana. And if somebody doesn't like it, then okay,
It's their problem.
Me da igual. I'd rather that you come and see me and support
A
me
good
for
piece
who I
of
am.
advice que me dio Luis, que está por ahí, me dice, what they think is their problem, not yours.
Yeah.
Y eso a mí, vamos, siempre se me ha quedado aquí, because it's that way. So you just carry on what you're doing and what they think, what people think, that's their problem. Positive and negative, eh? It's
Yeah.
about you and how you feel.
Pero todo el mundo me dice igual, like when I go to the hub, I think GBC has made me famous at this point because when I go, I get so much feedback diciendo like, Karima, la manera que tú hablas, me encanta, blah, blah. And I think, I'm good, me alegro, because I don't have a filter anymore. I changed a lot in the past 2 years. I changed careers. I changed el miedo ese of having, everyone knows each other in jail, but what if someone judges me? I don't care. Like, me da igual. I'm so proud to be who I am and where I've gotten, and where I've gotten, which is not that far, no te creas. But nobody has helped me get there. I've done it on my own. So,
Well
as
done,
the,
you.
The further that I get, I will do it on my own. Y si el día de mañana me hago famosa, como dice Adrian, the only people that I'm going to bring with me are the people who have supported me when no one else comes, or the people who listen to my music. Sorry? Okay.
Well, I have to say, because we're going to finish now, we're going to put questions to the crowd. But thank you all so much. Rima, thank you. And everybody, I'm really proud to have met you all. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing the stage with me and for telling everybody your stories. Have you enjoyed it, audience? So now we're going to open some questions up if anybody wants to ask. We can't see anything because the lights are very bright, but please ask some questions.
The cricket starts to go.
No, si quieres hago una pregunta yo. Ya que está. Some of you have spoken about the support, the local music scene, and that it's very difficult to get people in gigs. And so that's the problem. Do we have any solutions for that? Because that's something that we are trying to work as MAG and to change the local scene and get musicians to support other musicians and get other people to gigs. Do you think that anyone thinks that we have a solution to this problem?
A ver, yo no te puedo dar un solution, pero something that I know that is a problem really from my friends, for example, that I've experienced is que mucha gente no vienen a verme because every time that they go se gastan como 80, 100 pounds on a bill for a couple of tapas or drinks. And they don't come because they think every time that I go to see her, me gasto un dinero. And I don't know if maybe restaurants should be like, bueno, mira, this band is playing, yo qué sé, the first 10 or 20 that come, pues mira, 20% discount or something like that, yo qué sé. Pero maybe if businesses also supported musicians, then maybe that way, yo qué sé, a lo mejor people wouldn't see that coming to support someone is spending a lot of money. Because it's usually restaurants, en verdad. But that is something that my friends, for example, do find a struggle. So that's why they don't come.
It's really expensive.
It is.
You're basically very short. Yo creo que the only solution we have to get people to gigs is primarily what MAG is doing, which is promoting local music, and I think you're doing a great job. Chapeau. And people like James, who have the radio program, which is dedicated solely to local music, that is helping a lot. I think it's helping a lot. I don't know if it's going to change the scene, porque, again, I still don't think Gibraltar's a gig going public. I really don't. But these things will definitely help. Definitely, I think.
I'd like to see more investment from the government and maybe private companies on putting on more things like the Sound Festival that we did at Piazza, where we had a few hundred people turn up and support local music. And I think I'd rather see less big events and more smaller ones throughout the year where you have several artists playing on the same bill. And that way people like Rima and Surya and everyone here, we get to play in front of a crowd that's not exclusively there for us. It's there for everyone. And if we do more of those, then you start taking a percentage of so-and-so's crowd start liking you. And some of your crowd start liking them, but it means that every time you start doing other gigs, more and more people will come and see you. And there's got to be much more of that. I mean, venue-wise, we desperately need a venue, a proper purpose-built venue. That's my opinion.
So then come tomorrow to support the youth over here that are playing. All of you, yeah. Come on Saturday to support us. Go and back to the classics and Nola Mai and then Future Sound. So, everyone just like go and support each
Yo no voy a
other.
ver Nolan para nada.
Si se puede.
Yo no voy a ver Nolan para nada.
Para nada. Sorry, Nola, I tried.
Going back to the supporting, because you have to take it...
That's Nonny number 2.
Sí, aquí toda historia que da la vuelta.
He's just moved.
Someone's gonna ask a question.
Se ha cambiado de sitio para que parezca otra persona, tío.
Sí, ahí está. Ante, I would like to thank everyone for coming and in nearly in nearly 2 hours, only 2 swear words. Y ha sido pizza, ¿eh? So,
That's fucking brilliant.
Ahí está.
I've only swear twice.
Sí.
Bloody hell.
Back to the supporting the events. For example, I think, personally, I think it's getting better. For example, tomorrow we have 160 people coming for the youth.
It's amazing.
On Saturday we have 140. Y now está empezando a vender mucho más.
¿Cuánto?
140, sí, está bien.
All right, it's on.
It's on, está bien. Back to the classics, está casi sold out ya, ¿no? Sí, ahí está. So people are attending to gigs, so maybe it's the case that we need to be more selective in what we are doing. Could that be the issue?
I think on both events that you've just mentioned, there's a big variety of artists performing, which harkens back to what I said a few minutes ago. I think there needs to be more events with more artists involved.
También, to be honest, like on our side, on our event on the Saturday, we've been pushing it like mad, haven't we? Like I've been pushing it like mad digitally. You've been pushing it, Ace of Slates también, and Mag. So we've actually, without being together, we've been working together for the same purpose. So that has really helped, I think. 100%. Y todo también los radios, tú también supporting us on the radio y todo. Sí, con que it's about working together for something. And I think that's what we're doing tonight. I think that's the whole point of tonight, no? We are here, we're working together, we're listening to our stories, and I think we come to the same conclusion, no? Really, we need to support each other more. We need more wine. We need more food. In my Heineken.
De verdad.
I think we're really privileged as well that there's so many good musicians locally that are recording really inspiring original music that represents where we're from in so many different styles and genres, that it would be a shame not to be able to appreciate that more on a big stage with more of these genres represented on that stage. I think we should be enjoying all the different genres and not just, doing a hard rock festival or a metal festival or a reggae festival. Let's mix it all up, man, and have a good time.
Hi. Okay. So basically I was thinking of an imagination. For example, I remember day-to-day gig with Bayside students, which is like in the magazine studio. I'm wondering, I was thinking of something. What if school bands are able to perform in like a collaboration, like for example, like Gampa or Mag? Like, what is your opinion on these type of collaborations? If that's, yeah, thank you.
I mean, from my part, I think collaborations are always good, especially in a community like ours, where different organizations, especially that are involved in music, come together to put on shows. That's for sure. But I think that's a lot of what MAG is already doing and trying to push. So perhaps, like, MAG working even closer than they do with Gamper and magazine studios, etc., is the way forward to make that a reality. But it's obviously from my side, I think that's a great idea.
No, I think that's perfect.
Guys, where do you stand on the ongoing debate between is our cover bands undermining original talent in Gibraltar?
This guy's itching to answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Me as well.
Clearly, all of you guys up there are, you've all done original stuff. Certainly, James, you know where I stand on this one. I was just thinking, are cover bands undermining original talent in Gibraltar? I think they are.
I don't think they are. I think there's a time and a place for a cover band. I think cover bands are perfect for bars, restaurants, weddings, and bar mitzvahs, and all that stuff. Honestly, I think cover bands played a very important role in the music scene. But I feel like if a band wants to do original material or is scared of doing original material, they shouldn't be, and they should be striving to write and record more. And I think that MAG will be providing more platforms for bands and artists that do original stuff. That's what MAG's all about. We want to promote Gibraltarian culture.
Yeah,
and our culture isn't just art and poetry, it's music as well. And we have to, I think more people should be considering that. The music is a massive part of our culture.
Yeah, original artists need to step outside of their comfort zone.
Definitely.
And I think the problem is, at the moment, not enough artists, this is just a personal opinion, not enough artists are prepared to step out of their comfort zone because it's easier to go and earn £400 or £500 playing covers.
Yeah.
That it, well, at the
£400.
Well, I can tell you the arena. Absolutely.
Get me a gig. We want a gig there.
Me as well.
It's.
But you're right. But you're right. You're right. I've always, that's what I like doing. I think that most of all of the artists here, that's what they enjoy doing. And I've been in cover bands, playing only cover bands, and the only thing, obviously, you get money and stuff. But the worst thing is, for me, the worst thing is that the audience somehow tends to expect that. And we may, and sometimes wrongly even, people, I include myself because I've done it in the past, give in. You know what I mean? Or having said that, I've done loads of original stuff, and I always try to push my original stuff. And now, I'm sorry, I play covers, but if I play 20 songs, at least 10 or 12 are original. And the rest, okay, I'll give, I'll do some covers. But you're right. But the Gibraltarian public, they thrive on that.
Yeah, but you play covers that you love.
Ah, of course.
You're not playing covers just to fill up.
No, I've never played anything that I don't like. I never played anything that I don't like. That's. I've never played that. Maybe I have. I don't know.
I think again it comes to the same conclusion. I mean, Gibraltarian musicians don't get the exposure. We don't get the exposure with original stuff. We don't. You can play one or two songs in, like, for example, James was doing a great job. We need more. We need more. We need our songs to be exposed. You know what I mean? It's the only way. That's why people want covers, because they don't know your songs.
I don't think that. I think it's
in
the culture.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely in the culture, pero.
I don't think that. I've been asked. Sorry, I've been asked when we had the GMF. Hey man, when are the bands playing? I went, man, mira, the bands are playing at 3 o'clock. No. When are the bands playing? You know what I mean? Not the Gibraltarian bands. When are the bands playing? And they've told me in my bloody face.
Wow.
Bloody is not swear. You don't know what a swear word is, very. That's not a swear word. But no, that's what I believe. They've told me in my face. No se han cortado ni nada. No. The Gibraltarian bands, no. I wasn't even playing, pero en plan, you know.
You're discarded.
Ahí va, fuera.
I know, but that's what I'm trying to say.
I'm a bit like Adrian in verdad, because I think he's probably the closest thing that I can get to flamenco on this couch. Pero I only sing in summer, really, because throughout the year I'm doing my own stuff and I sing in Spanish. But then in the summer, I know that a lot of bands here in Jib tend to sing the same songs. And for me, cover bands personally, I think if you do not have your own style singing that song, you sound just like the radio. So para eso, para qué va, la verdad. Pero después, me, for example, I sing Niña Pastori, I sing Etopa, I sing what everyone likes to hear in a chiringuito in Spain when you go. I sing what you hear in Tarifa. But then why don't you come to Chatham to hear me? Why do you have to go all the way to Tarifa to hear someone who's not Jibu? And I think that's a bit of an issue as well, because I'm probably the only person that I know in Jib that sings the style that I do.
And they have that music in the car.
Sí, pero
have
es que everyone loves
music in
it.
the car.
Everyone thinks, ay, qué alegría, las tortas, las palmas, el veranito. Oh, where are you, hijo? Está el sol a 30 grados, estoy cantando aquí como una tonta y no hay nadie, ¿sabes? Pero I only sing in summer, después I hibernate, and I start doing my own songs, and here we go again. Pero I think it depends on the style that you sing your songs, because if everyone's going to sound the same, es lo que dice, oh, they're just Jibbo bands. When the real people come, then we'll attend the show. Y tampoco está justo, you need to support everyone when they play.
And coming back to what Adrian and what Giles touched on, when you're not having opportunities to put your original music out there, and when you have the chance, so one of the most sort of heart-wrenching things as an original person that writes music is when you have that chance to play live and you've worked on that set, which things like what used to happen with the Gibraltar Music Festival. Unfortunately, it is the way it is. The local bands are on early. And you've put in loads and loads of hours and got it together, and then you come out on this big stage for this chance, and there's literally like no one watching in that. And I know it's very hot, and you don't expect them to be standing there, but nobody comes, and you're like, poof, all that effort for this, and then that's when it becomes very tempting, and it's not everyone, but it becomes very tempting for local artists to say, poof, I'd rather play the covers and play at 9 o'clock at night instead, and on top of that, I'm also going to get paid 3 times. That it's a really difficult position to be in. So this is why from the beginning it depends on the reason why you're in this, and whether you're doing it for the love of it, but also that element of it has to be fair for everyone, as in you have to get paid. It's fair play. It's all about fair play.
I agree. I'm just going to ask you. My son sings Nicky Borda.
He's brilliant, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
He's really good.
Thank you. He started off with busking and stuff like that, you probably heard, and he got kicked out quite a lot by people around, and saying about licenses, and you were saying about you were busking in London, was it you? Yeah. And having like an organisation type thing, so that you have like a rota of people with a license and doing that. Wouldn't it be a good idea to do something like that here in Jib in select areas, so that nobody can say, "Oh, you're too loud,"
Yeah, absolutely.
Stop.
I mean,
and even the police weren't supporting. I mean, my son was singing for GBC Open Day one day in the piazza, and he got told to stop. And even the police came and stopped him because one person complained. And how heart-wrenching that is, He wasn't even doing it for himself. He was doing it for GBC Open Day. So, things like that. Or when he plays at events and they don't pay him for weeks because, they can't be bothered. I don't know what it is. And you have to actually complain. These are sort of things that I think MAG especially have been very supportive. It's been great that you can actually go to someone and actually get some support. He's been very good. But
I'll jump in on the busking thing.
The busking
just
thing,
quickly.
yeah,
Okay, so one of the first things we did as MAG, and actually I wrote an article about this 10, 11 years ago for YGTV about busking in Gibraltar and how there needed to be a license program. Not necessarily a license program that was going to cost the buskers money, but something where they would audition, and street performers would audition, and there would be certain spots around Gibraltar that they could perform, because at the time there was also a lot of pickpocketing, theft going on around the ICC area.
But you want also a certain
a certain level of quality performer, and that is something that then when we started MAG, we spoke with the GFSB, I think it was, the Federation of Small Businesses. We spoke to them about it. We spoke to the Minister of Culture about it as well. Everything was yes, yes, yes. We love the idea. We should do it. We should do it. We should do it. Then they did the Main Street program. What was that called, Stephen? BID.
Downtown Gibraltar.
BID was going to include this busking program, this licensing, where there would be auditions for buskers, and then the ones that were good enough would be performing along Main Street. But we all know what happened to BID. It just disintegrated within months. So that never happened. So I don't know where we are on that, but it's certainly something that we will be bringing up again because it's on our agenda to do.
Because it's definitely put him off doing it, because, you know, when several people tell you to move on and the police support one person.
Yeah, because the law still doesn't support the busker. The issue here is that there is a public nuisance bill, I think it's called. Maybe Stephen will correct me. And because there's not a provision for busking licenses and areas around Gibraltar, if you don't like what you're hearing, you can call the police. And regardless of what you're doing it for, if there's been a complaint, the police can move you on. And that is something that we do want to change. We want to have areas in Gibraltar where quality performers are making the tourist experience, but also for locals, because we like listening to music when we walk downtown, make the experience better for all those people.
Yes, definitely. Thanks.
One thing I found out throughout my years con el Pisarello is que it's great to have 160 tomorrow, 140 the next day, but these shows or these events are far and few between. It's the Friday nights and the Saturday nights. I remember 10 years ago, I used to play in Nelson to a packed Nelson till 3 o'clock in the morning. Used to start at 11 o'clock, and that's gone. And I think, James, you said about the music scene. It's completely gone. And I think we need to go back to basics somehow. We need to go back to basics, because somebody who doesn't go out on a Friday night to listen to a band will probably not come to an event, a little bit of bigger event. You know what I mean? And we need to start educating the public again to have that music scene all over again, because it's gone. It's completely dead. Completely dead.
I mean, I think there's a spark, a chance of that sort of starting up again, with the importance of having younger bands playing live, because then their friends come to see them. And I've been rehearsing up at Lathbury Barracks in the MAG porter cabins, and there's a couple of young bands rehearsing upstairs. And what I've noticed that whenever they're rehearsing, there are loads of motorbikes, which are all their mates, have come to sit down and watch their friends rehearse. Essentially, those are all the mates that are then going to go into their gigs. And I remember it was like that back in the day when, I mean, down at Wellington Front, no, in Bisa's room where we'd rehearse. You go to rehearse, and the Friday night, the highlight for you and all your mates was all your mates coming to watch your show and you prepping, and then they'd all come to your gig, and it went to build. And I think that at least there's hope in that there are young bands playing live again, and hopefully that means that the scene can grow again, the live music scene can grow again. That's the hope, anyway.
I've always been a big fan of Adrian's, because he's been someone who has stuck to his roots. And he has a very peculiar genre, which isn't everybody's cup of tea, but he stands there time and time again, and he sticks to his roots, and that's really admirable. And I think you want to do more or less the same thing. I don't think the problem here is the musicians, the caliber of the musicians, or what they put forward. I don't agree with Giles. I think he forgets that his original material... No, I agree with you in that we're not a listening public, but if you push your original material time and time again, like any other artist across the world, people eventually will catch on to the songs, and you prove that. We see Sin Dormir with Reach, Taxi have proved it, Melon Diesel have proved it, but you cannot do covers. Covers have their place. And whether it's a wedding, whether it's a themed night, whether it's whatever the night is, you need to stick to your roots, to your originals. That's what I feel. But our listening public isn't a problem just for musicians. It's for the theatre-going public too. Dancers, actors, Gampa, they sell tickets to family and friends. No one else will go. I've interviewed people on this myself, and it's just a public throughout the arts. Nobody goes to art installations. Nobody goes to exhibitions. People here are a sporting public, and you're fighting a losing battle. And I love your optimism, James, because you're still hoping and praying that it's there. But I really do think that it's always going to be a select crowd for Jib. 90% go to a gig for a good time, not to listen to you.
There you go. It's no different to what I've said.
I don't disagree with you at all. But I think
the first thing that I said
the
is
most
that
important thing is that people have a good time.
Absolutely.
And if more people perform together and combine and stuff, then there's more chance of more people having a good time.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
I think what she means is
that my music sucks. And people just want to go and have a beer.
No, brother. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that people go to a place because they go. And finally, no matter who's there, no matter if there's nobody there. And sometimes you are even messing the night up. If you play in some, for example, I don't want to mention any bars, but the Chatham crowd, I don't play there, man. Why are you going to play there? And there's guys playing there, man, and most of the people don't go there for that. I work with young people, and sometimes they say, anda, no vea, el cortavena este ahora. They've said it to me, man. You know what I mean? What we need, obviously, is somebody that goes to see the bands. But, for the sake of having a crowd, tampoco. Because it won't work.
I agree with that, and it's a bit contradicting, really, to other artists. But my own mom tells me, era una cortavena. Every time that I sing a song that's quite slow, or that's maybe a little bit sad, or that it's English, she goes, "Qué aburrida era, hija." And she makes me sing. Well, she doesn't make me. She convinces me to sing more of a flamenco, maybe Gypsy Kings, or something that has a bit of movement. I sing in Chatham, by the way. Pero he's right, though, because when I sing, well, usually I sing in my wines, that place is always packed, always. I can never get a table. However, when I go to sing, hay mesa de sobra. Hay de todos lados. And if the only people that I have that are dancing to me is the staff. Why? Because they're Spanish. And then I have, again, mi madre, mi tía, mi tío. And then I have a few people, and they just come maybe just por el apoyo, por el compromiso. Pero lo que pasa, que abajo, when people pass, uy, que ambiente hay arriba. Pues sí, sube para arriba. No, que they're downstairs, and then when I go maybe for a toilet break, ¿tú qué estás cantando? Sí, uy, me encanta, que flow. O mi arma, vente para arriba. No, que they stay there having a drink, and that's it. And you think, you're ruining their night, really, because what they want is to go for a drink, have a nice ambiente, but when they hear someone dándole caña a la guitarra, uf, no, qué ruido. And you go home. Eso es lo que pasa. And in that sense, you're right. Okay.
But that happens everywhere, though. That's not unique to Jib. I remember when I do pub gigs and sort of random corporate events and stuff in the UK as like my bread and butter, there'd be people who had booked you coming up to you and saying, turn it down, and turn it down to the point where you're literally unamplified, and you're just, it's just they're part of the furniture, really, because they want to see the aesthetic of an acoustic guitarist singing in the corner because it adds to the event, and it doesn't come up about the music. So it's not just Jib, eh? It's not just us. Let's not knock us Janidos.
I think that you have to play where you have to play.
No more questions? No?
Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you've enjoyed it, and well done, Mag, for getting these guys, getting this together. Well done, Noni. Actually, it was his idea. And thank you for supporting and keep supporting them. They're an amazing bunch of musicians and artists, and they deserve it. So thank you all very much.